40% of energy consumption and 36% of CO2 emissions. The two-thirds of energy consumption in buildings is used for heating and cooling. These considerations, in addition to a changing climate whose effects are increasingly evident day by day, led us to say that it's time to act. This means that the transition to a low-carbon economy has become urgent and that the intervention in the building sector is crucial. A radical change in governance and consumer behaviors is necessary for supporting this radical transition to a low-carbon economy. Based on these considerations and necessities, 7 different European actors merged together and outlined the Locarbo initiative. Locarbo is an interregional cooperation project whose main objectives are to improve policy instruments for increasing energy efficiency and the use of renewable in buildings, to find innovative ways for regional and local authorities for supporting energy consumers' behaviors change by enhancing motivation and awareness, and to promote more conscious consumers' decisions on energy efficiency through the use of smart technologies. Locarbo's main expected achievement is that by 2020, each region involved in the project will implement and monitor a specific action plan built in close collaboration with its own network of stakeholders and local communities.
Ciao Alessandro.
Ciao, how are you?
Ciao
Fine?
Francesco.
Hello, everybody.
Good morning. My hair is so big.
Everybody's there, except Francesco. Also mine. Andandosene, puoi spostare questo corso leggermente più là. Sì. Andandosene, io proprio con la testa, capito? Spostare leggermente, ma poi un po' pochissimo, leggermente più là. Che non ti legge la bocca, capito? Un po' di più. Andandosene, io proprio con la testa, capito? Spostare leggermente, ma poi un po' pochissimo, leggermente più là. Che non ti legge la bocca, capito? Un po' di più. Io proprio con la testa, capito? Spostare leggermente, ma poi un po' pochissimo, leggermente più là. Che non ti legge la bocca, capito? Un po' di più. Io proprio con la testa, capito? Spostare leggermente, ma poi un po' pochissimo, leggermente più là. Che non ti legge la bocca, capito? Un po' di più. Io proprio con la testa, capito? Spostare
Hello, everybody. I believe that we may start this final event of Locarbo project. Hello, everybody. I believe that we may start this final event of Locarbo. We have a very full agenda for today morning, so I believe it is very good to leave the floor for the opening session to Mr. Alessandro Attolico from the province of Potenza, who is responsible for as lead partner of the project, and then to Margarita Roca. She is from Villanova de Gaia. And Villanova de Gaia is the responsible for the logistic, for the organization of this event. Of course, we are online because for the many reasons that all of us knows very well. But I believe that it will be useful to stay connected with this event for the importance of the arguments and the relevance of the output of the project. So thank you everybody for being here, for being connecting. Thank you to the speakers. Thank you for the organizers. And let's start with this final event of Locarbo project. Alessandro. Your microphone, Alessandro.
Sorry. Thank you. Thank you, Francesco. Thank you. Hello to everybody. This is the final conference of this project, Locarbo project. I will not take more time to introduce myself because we have occasion to do it during the event. So we will have also the president joining in live in the conference during the conference. So I think that we can start with the works, and I give the floor to Margarita, that is the hosting partner of Villanova de Gaia in Portugal.
Buongiorno a tutti, siamo alla conferenza finale del progetto Locarbo, un progetto che ha visto protagonisti molti dei paesi della comunità europea, delegazioni del Portogallo, della Gran Bretagna, dell'Ungheria, della Lituania e della Romania, ai quali va un affettuoso saluto. Un progetto che è durato circa 60 mesi e che si è concentrato nel recupero e valorizzazione di buone pratiche per il rispetto dell'ambiente, provando e cercando di sensibilizzare anche attraverso le scuole le nuove generazioni, usi, costumi e comportamenti che guardano al futuro con l'obiettivo di ridurre i gas inquinanti, di rispettare sempre più l'ambiente, di produrre e trasformare energia senza inquinare. La provincia di Potenza ha investito molto in questa direzione e intende continuare con il coinvolgimento dei 100 comuni della nostra provincia. La provincia ormai è la casa dei comuni e noi vogliamo continuare in quest'opera di formazione e sensibilizzazione nel rispetto dell'ambiente.
Hello, good morning. We are joining here today to close a cycle of 5 years within which partners from 6 European countries have focused on and achieved important improvements in low-carbon economy policies. At this event, you will learn how our partners cooperated to improve policy instruments targeting demand-driven initiatives to increase energy efficiency and the use of renewables in buildings through innovative ways of supporting energy consumers' behavior change. Based on lessons learned from Locarbo, we'll share perspectives and tools that can help us all to look towards the future, promoting the transition towards low carbon and climate resilient economies and behavior. Thank you.
So welcome to Vila Nova de Gaia, to the final conference of the Locarbo project. After 5 years, I think we have strong results to present. And to begin maybe a new era, we are working on the fair transition projects all over Europe. And we believe that Locarbo can help us to join together with new ideas, new projects. Maybe, we hope, new projects that are going to meet us together presentially. And more than all, I hope you evaluate these 5 years as 5 years of good work in Europe, in the future of Europe together.
Okay, thank you, Alessandro. Thank you, Margarita. After these two messages from our political leaders, that represents also the level of commitment that Locarbo generates at institutional level, involving actively the political representative in the debate and in decision-making process that are connected with the implementation. We can move to the content section of the day. And first of all, I'm very glad to have here a representative of the Interreg Europe Joint Secretariat, which is the responsible authority for the implementation of the whole programs. And probably I can take the point of the lead partner, also bringing them a really a grateful thanks for the support in the project implementation and for the helpful collaboration concerning both administrative procedure, but mainly the content and the capacity to enlarge the network of the project, extending the connection that Locarbo generates at local level to the whole European framework. So I am glad to give the floor to Anne Rocheteau, that will show us an interesting presentation concerning Interreg Europe State of the Play. Anne, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Francesco. Thank you all for inviting me today. I'm very happy to be with you, even though, well, it's virtually only. I would have been very happy to go to Portugal and meet you in person, maybe another time. So today we are here because, as you just said, Locarbo is getting to the end of the project. After 5 years of supporting this project, we are very happy to be here today to say a few words about the program Interreg Europe. We will say also a few words about the project, and we will speak about the future, that some of you may be interested to know a bit more about the future of Interreg Europe. So I'm going to show a short presentation, if I can share the screen. So like this. Okay, I guess it's working now. Yes, I see only my screen, so I don't know if it's working. I'm going to move this. It's working. Okay, perfect. Thanks. So, to start about the results of Interreg Europe program. We are a program that is supporting interregional cooperation project. We are currently supporting, I will move this sidebar that we don't know why it's happened yesterday. 258 projects are currently supported, have been approved by the Interreg program, and we engaged all our budget of 322 million euros. Our specificity as a program is that we target regions. Most of our partners are NUTS 2 region. This means that we are close to the field when we work, and 1/4, 25% of the partners are actually managing authorities. The other specificity is that we are the only Interreg program that is covering all European countries. Okay. Our results. What do we do? What do we do in Interreg Europe program projects? We exchange about the experience of the partners. So one point is the good practices that are submitted by the partners. As you can see here, 2/3 of the good practices submitted by the partners had enough quality to be validated by the policy learning platform. This means that an expert reviewed them and they were published on our policy learning platform. Our second result is the staff with increased capacity. We are a program about capacity building for the staff, for the stakeholders. And the partners also produce some action plans to improve their policy instrument from the learning exchange they've done during their project. As you can see here, a bit more than half of our project have reported about these results, and we've already reached almost all our targets defined in our cooperation program. So we are very happy and very proud of the partners' work and this result at program level. So our main result the main result of the partners is reporting on policy changes. This means, for example, that one partner reports to us when they launch a new code that has been inspired by a practice learned during the project. This we assess it with the partners. Our officer assess it with the partners in order to define the amount that is really linked to a result of the project. And with this, we can define the leverage effect of our program. Here, it's now, as of 1st of December, our leverage effect is 2.8. This means that €1 invested in an Interreg Europe project generates 2.8 euros of investment in a region. This means that we've already reimbursed the cost that we cost to the European citizen, and we are very happy to generate this dynamism in investment at local level. The second pillar of our program is the policy learning platform. It's our community of peers where we propose a great diversity of services. There is this good practice database that is accessible to all of you. It's free. You can see it on the website and search for good practices. There is some support from the expert. There are some webinars. There are other services. One of our most successful service is now the peer reviews. Peer review is 2 days of intense discussion with participants discussing about an issue that is raised by a host region. After these 2 days, with the support of an expert, the participants draw some recommendations, some conclusions on this issue, and each participant gets back to its region. This peer review, now we've implemented more than 20 peer reviews, and participants are usually very happy of the outcome of these meetings. And you can see on the website of the policy learning platform, there is a regular call for it. So do not hesitate if you want to host a peer review to apply for it, and our team will contact you. All the services of the policy learning platform are now available online, of course, because we cannot travel anymore, as you know. So do not hesitate to have a look at the webpage. Another section on our webpage that can be of interest to you is a new section, of course, that is dedicated to COVID-19, because most of our projects are about learning exchanges. It's about traveling. It's about meeting each other to learn what they do in the other regions. Now, this is not possible anymore. So we thought about passing online this possibility to exchange. And to exchange on what? To exchange on how do you solve the COVID-19 challenges in your regions. So now there are some good practices available. You can also submit good practices if you've done a good experience in your region on how you overcome the COVID-19 crisis on such or such topic. Do not hesitate to contact us and to share it with our community. Some other regions in Europe may be interested also by your experience. You will find also on this section other support and information. So don't hesitate to have a look. Now, our program wouldn't be as it is without our projects. So projects about low carbon economy as Locarbo. We have 60 projects on this topic and 14 projects specifically dedicated to energy efficiency. You can see here on this slide the partners, the lead partners, and the partners involved in this project. So as you know, we're talking, as you can see, we're talking about exchanging between partners, sharing all across Europe. Locarbo, during these 5 years of project, you've been very active, and we thank you for that. Partners of Locarbo participated in several events, organized by Interreg Europe in Sofia, an event organized by the Policy Learning Platform in Florence, online event also. So thank you very much for this participation, meaning that one partner comes and share their experience with other partners that are present there, and that's how our community works, by sharing about your own experience. You also published good practices that are published not only on your website, but also 21 good practices are published on the PLP, on the Policy Learning Platform database. So thank you. It means they've been validated by an expert. Thank you for this contribution. In terms of results, the project is not finished yet. We know already that you've achieved some results, so that's a very good sign. You've achieved results in terms of policy instruments that have been improved in 4 regions, in Lithuania, in Hungary, in North Portugal, and in Central Romania. So congratulations to these 4 partners already, and we're looking forward to the last progress report when you will tell us about some other results that you may have achieved. And another point that we want to mention is that Locarbo has 3 pilot actions approved. This means 3 partners who tested an action that was inspired by another region. And this good practice from Hungary of the virtual power plant has been transferred to Italy, to UK, and to Romania. And despite the context of this year and the difficulty sometimes for some implementation, we know that some results have been achieved for this pilot action, and we really want to congratulate you for this. Not all Interreg Europe projects have pilot actions, so it's really a step forward, like to test an action from another region. Congratulations for this good work of all the partners of Locarbo. Now, Interreg Europe, what will happen in the future? Well, we came from far. In 2018, we were not present in the draft regulation. So hopefully now we are back in the regulation, in the European regulation. So that's a relief. And well, you can find all the information about the current negotiation of the cooperation program on our website. You will this so you can see. Okay. You can find on our website the cooperation program, the current draft. You can also comment it if you are interested in it. You will also find an estimated calendar. So I guess you may wonder when will be the next call to apply for a project. For now, what we can say is that there have been some delays in the negotiation of the regulation. So for now, we hope to be able to publish the first call of the upcoming programmation by the first semester of 2022. Hopefully, we will keep you posted on this. On our website, you will find all the information. And what will be in this call? Well, there will be no big revolution, but certainly there will be some evolution. We will remain as a pan-European program. We will keep the same objective and the same target group, with maybe the possibility to have an obligation to have a managing authority in the project. And we will keep focusing on capacity building. What will change? Well, it will not be compulsory anymore that the policy instruments are linked to an operational program. There will be some more possibility for pilot actions, more pilot action maybe earlier in the project during the learning exchange phase already, so you can already test what you're learning about. And there will be no more thematic scope of the program. So now the program has 4 thematic objectives. We will focus on capacity building mostly, and you will be able to apply for projects on different topics. There will be more variety of topics. That's it for what we can say for now. Just keep yourself informed on our website. For today, I wish you a very good day of exchanges about Locarbo, the results, and what will be coming next. We look forward to seeing many of you in the next programming period. And thank you again for the good work of all the partners of Locarbo.
Thank you, Anne. Thank you for the positive impression that also evaluation that you gave to Locarbo experience. Thank you very much, and thank you also for anticipating the evolution of Interreg Europe. That for all the partners, of course, but for many European stakeholders, represents one of the main platform to develop effective connection, networking, exchange of experience, and everything you already mentioned in your presentation. It is impressive to see that the leverage effect of this programming season is up to 2.8. And this is impressive, and we know that all the project contributes to these results. We are part of a huge scheme, and this scheme brings values for participants and for territories, and especially for local communities. And this is really important to highlight in this kind of events, because the final beneficiaries of those actions remains citizens and local communities, and this is very important. Okay, we are perfectly in time, so thank you again, Anne, for your presence here, for the support you brought to the project. Okay, we can go on with the agenda, and we have now the presentation of some relevant contents of Locarbo concerning rationale, main objectives, and achievements of the projects. And the speaker will be Alessandro Attolico, the project manager at the lead partner. So, Alessandro, the floor is yours. We have a very strict time, 10 minutes for this presentation. So, please take your time, and thank you.
Thank you. Let's share the screen. Okay. So I will describe a little bit the story of this project, and just to introduce also the specific contribution that will be provided in the next section. So I will describe the point of view of the lead partner in this specific project that we built from the beginning as a part of our policy making as a province of Potenza. We had the challenge, the big challenge that we had at the beginning of our activities to build resilient and sustainable development for our communities and future generation. This challenge has been defined into, has been used for define a vision, goals, targets for improving governance, implementing actions, mobilize internal, external resources for development, and especially empowering communities. This is the main activity that we are working on by that coming down from the challenge that we posed at the beginning. So after some years of elaboration of working on this, we defined the policy making by combining the three main topics of territorial development. That is territorial safety, sustainable development, and climate change. And we defined the We Resilient strategy in 2013 that is a part of our policy making, a structural policy making, named PSP, which is the guiding document that we are using for implementing a specific action all over the territory. We are a province, so we coordinate, we work with our municipalities. We have 100 municipalities in our coordination, in our regional coordination, and we work with them and with all the stakeholder platform, including also the communities and citizens. So now, after this policy making definition, we worked to implement actions for reaching that challenge, that goals, by working by assembling this puzzle, this big puzzle, piece by piece. So this is one of the piece of our strategy. And at that time, when we knew that most of the energy consumer, for example, if we talk about energy, climate, and disaster risk reduction in terms of climate effects of the use of energy, we knew that the 40% of all the energy is consumed by buildings. The province has a lot of buildings, like the schools, like the offices that we manage over the territory. So is one of the specific topic that we have to deal with, and so we decided to make a sort of discussion on this by putting together these main topics that we were discussing at the time. That buildings are responsible for the 40% of energy consumption. We recorded the sort of reluctance of the end user to invest in energy efficiency, and also the energy efficiency intervention were not coordinated. So we needed to improve the governance, and us as local authorities, we had to do something on this. And also the local regional authorities had the not specific knowledge to tackle with these kind of things. So we look around in our European background, in European framework, and we found out that the Interreg Europe program was investing on this specific action, especially in low carbon economy, with the specific sub-programs that provided for investments. Anna show us how is working the Interreg framework all over the Europe. And so we decided to apply with a specific application, the Locarbo, which deals exactly with these kind of things. We decided to have as a specific objective to improve policy instruments, not only our policy instruments, but also policy instruments of the partnering countries that were joined with us, and we decided to put some specific objectives like this: the supplementary services offered by authorities, innovative cooperation models, which is the partnerships, not only at the EU level, but also at the local level with our stakeholders and the communities, and also the use of innovative smart technologies, which is the future also for the future in investments. So we built the partnership, selecting the partners with the specific goal of connecting with the partner, with skilled partner that had something to teach to us and to the others, and something to learn from the others. So we built this very specific partnership by combining local authorities, regional authorities, managing authorities, in the case of the Basilicata region, NGOs, so a private sector, and also scientific institution like the University of Kaunas. So a very specific partnership that worked for this long time for defining the specific action that we performed during in the application. We joined, so we had the assignment of the project. The JS, the Interreg Europe, gave us the possibility to have funded this project, and so we had almost more than 1,500,000 euros to spend on this activity for 4.5 years, which means from 2016 to 2020. Of course, all this period has been full of activities. This is a conceptual scheme of the activities that have been carried out, that goes from the analysis of the ambition, of the regional analysis of the ambition of the policy makings that we were to modify and to influence with our activity, the exchange of good practice, the analysis of cooperation models that could be used for improving our policy instruments, and then most of the activity has been done on study visits, on exchanges, on training session, capacity buildings, and awareness raising. All the activities that are done, must be done for sharing knowledge and improve our way to do the things. So the project has two phases. The first phase is the study phase, analysis, ambitions, the knowledge exchange, and is concluded. This phase was concluded with the definition of 7, because we are 7 partners, 7 action plans. These action plans have been implemented in the second phase, in which also some pilot actions, some concrete action have been also used for demonstrate that what we were doing was efficient and it was doing well. So we had an extension of 6 months because of the pandemic. We know very well the situation. So at the end, the project lasted 5 years, and now we are approaching to the end. So we are capitalizing this experience. This is part of our strategy as a lead partner, but I think that all the partners are acting in the same way. We are capitalizing this experience at all levels, ranging from the global one, because we are part of the Making Cities Resilient campaign launched by the United Nations. So this experience, together with the other policymakers regarding disaster risk reduction, climate change, sustainable development, have been capitalized and transferred at the global level in this platform. It's a global platform. And also at the EU level, Interreg Europe is the main program in which we are, but not only the Interreg Europe, but also other programs are engaged in this capitalization action. At the national level, specifically with the association, the National Association of Provinces and the National Association of Municipalities. It's a work that is in progress, and then we will last in the next, will cover the next 3 years of activity. And of course, at the local level, at the regional level, because all our activity, all our experience now is going to be widespread all over the territorial, the provincial territory, by acting with the communities, with the municipalities, first of all, the community, the citizen, by working with the specific action, like we will see some of them in the next session, that give us the possibility to capitalize, to invest the experience, to export the experience also at the very local level. And in this way, we try to attract new initiatives for the future, increase our possibility of action for the future. This is the way in which the province is acting, but this is the way I can say that also all the partners are working, because each initiative is part of a big process, and we are part of a big process, and we have to stay in this process by trying to merge and to capitalize what we do every day, and for the sake of the communities. Thank you very much for your attention. We will see specifically what we did in the project in the next session, and so I give the floor to Francesco for the next speaker.
Thank you, Alessandro. We move very fast to our keynote speaker. Mr. Abhilash Panda is head of the Infrastructure Resilience and Deputy for Intergovernmental and Partnership Branch of United Nations Disaster Risk Reduction, based in Geneva. He represents also the capacity, his presence here represents the connection between the province of Potenza and the wider scope of United Nations organizations. His topic today is connected to assess the challenges for low carbon and climate resilience transition in policy making, and the topic is concerning how today, in the COVID-19 era, those issues could be effectively addressed in the new policy framework. Mr. Abhilash Panda, thank you for being here, for accepting our invitation, and the floor is yours. Okay, thank you very much.
Good morning, and thank you. I am hopeful that you can hear me, because that's the most asked question of this year, and I think this question changes to next year, into something else next year. If you can hear me, then ladies and gentlemen, speakers, panel members, thank you very much for inviting me to join this very important discussion today. I'm sure there are so many participants joining remotely, and I would like to thank the organizer, especially Alessandro and his colleagues, to bring together so many of us. And what I understand from the agenda, it's a very rich program celebrating the successful project that has been bringing together so many local governments and other experts in the field. I think this event, or this workshop, and the project that this workshop represents is of particular relevance this year more than ever. Now, disaster risk and the need to mitigate its impacts have never been so central to our collective thinking than at the point of humanity that we are standing today. We can all easily agree that this is an extraordinary time to be alive. Right? COVID-19 is beyond anything experienced within our living memories. Long-standing norms have been upended: the way we live, the way we communicate with each other, the way we work and study, or the way you may have done this project. Or you cannot work or be educated, as is the case now for many. Our lives have been transformed by the COVID-19 pandemic and the restraint it has imposed on all our lives. It is now estimated that this pandemic could cost the global economy somewhere around $21 trillion. Now, Europe is not spared, nor is some of the localities and the regions that you represent here today. Early this September, the EU reported a downgrade of 11.8% of its GDP and an unemployment increase of 2.9%. And this is only for the Eurozone. Now, take the context of the global situation. This is still to be magnified and to be manifested into something bigger. Now, considering these profound changes, it is only right that we ask this question, ask hard questions about our capacity to manage risk. This crisis, unlike any other crisis, is everyone's business. It's also clear that local and regional governments are on the front line of this crisis, as they have been for most of the other disasters. The work of building resilience and reducing risk cannot proceed without local and regional governments. Now, the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction, or the SDGs, or the Paris Agreement, or the New Urban Agenda, these are all global frameworks in itself. They need to be translated to actionable areas and actionable agendas. Only with the Sendai Framework, it seeks a substantial reduction of disaster risk and losses in lives, livelihoods, and health. It pays a special attention to engagement at the local level and the role of local and regional partners in particular. In many ways, Europe, its cities and regions are at its heart. They have produced some outstanding examples of how strong disaster governance, executed with vision, competence, trust, and transparency, can avoid unnecessary loss of life. Today's discussion will, I'm sure, highlight a wealth of these examples and many others. Now, ladies and gentlemen, solidarity and international cooperation is a key to both response and recovery efforts. Mutual support and shared learning across all regions, this including the regions that you are currently engaged in through this project, will help to build back better and in a more resilient way. As you may know, the European Union, through its recovery package, but most of all through the wealth of resilient and inspiring local and regional actors, is already a clear demonstration of such solidarity in action. The case for prevention and resilience, alongside the critical needs of response and preparedness, are very much clear. Europe's solidarity in the face of COVID-19 pandemic relies more than ever on its cities and regions. This initiative, like others, will, I'm sure, help reinforce the reality and support the European Union achieve the global targets for disaster resilience, including having more local and national strategies for disaster risk reduction in place by end of this year. This very important workshop, having looked at the agenda, aims to improve low carbon economic policies. Let me shed some light on a critical factor that these policies are interlinked with. That is the resilience of energy sector and its accessibility. Now, a behavioral change is required not just in the consumer's end, but also in the end of the governance processes and the regulations behind it. As you may know, the Sendai Framework identifies the resilience of critical infrastructure as a key component for disaster risk reduction. In line with Goal 9 of SDGs, which calls for sustainable industrial development, universal access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy services, including the quality and of the resilience of those infrastructure. Let's be aware that energy, transportation, and water sectors in Europe are particularly at risk. Now, climate-related hazards could significantly affect the lifespan of operations of critical infrastructure in these sectors. Some of the estimates that we have come across show a 60% rise in the cost of damages due to extreme weather events in the region. This is in the next 30 years. Studies also have indicated that the cost of recovery of infrastructure from climate change-induced hazards could jump tenfold under a business as usual scenario. Now, Europe will experience a significant increase in multi-hazard, multi-sectoral damages in the next few decades. The largest increase in multi-hazard damage is expected most likely to the energy sector. If I'm not mistaken, we are looking from 0.5 billion back in 2015 to at least 8.2 billion by 2080. Now, that's a staggering value, that's a staggering amount, and it's all going to come out from potential resources that could have gone for other betterment of the society. Both at the national and regional levels, gaps in the understanding of the linkage between climate change, disaster risk, and infrastructure protection still exist. Now, attempts to address these issues through national mechanism somewhat seem as desperate. There are many experiences and challenges. There are also gaps in understanding of how disasters and climate change will impact renewable energy sources, as well as the potential environmental impact of the increasing demand for water for cooling. Now, we need to look into awareness raising, building and improving dams and coastal and river defenses, strengthening standards, training, installation of micro and underground grids, and introducing green elements in water management, amongst many others. Countries have adopted different approaches to assessing climate and disaster impacts, but the majority conduct vulnerability assessment, whereas risk assessment and a combination of both approaches are still missing. Now, if I can recollect, a good example to a certain extent is in France. After repeated heat waves in 2003 and 2006, EDF, which is I think the state-owned electric utility company, initiated what it's called the Great Heats Program. Now, this program urges operators to comply with the regulations governing river temperatures and includes planning for different climate change scenarios. This program also ensured investments in improving cooling equipment and the monitoring of climate change impacts, as well as the periodic revisions of safety standards. This is one of many great examples out there, and all these examples rely upon heavy local engagement, subnational engagement, and the transfer of capacity and knowledge across all this administrative boundaries. Now, policies and mechanisms need to be designed to suit local geographic and socioeconomic conditions. Disasters, including pandemics and climate change, affect local areas in different ways, and adaptation mechanisms have to be flexible enough to fit the specific conditions. Therefore, the coordination and cooperation between administrations at the central and local level, as well as with local private sectors, is essential in securing the continued operational services. A possible solution for improving the coordination among public authorities and with other stakeholders is the establishment of multi-ministry bodies that could possibly take the lead in informing and exchanging and facilitating cooperation. Now, coordination between different levels and stakeholders could also be improved through raising the risk awareness of local operators and private companies, as well as the users. This could be done through targeted programs and exercises. This initiative, Locarbo, could also improve the monitoring of implementation of measures. For instance, where appropriate, residents could be engaged in community projects, such as developing platforms for reporting on damages or aging local infrastructure, or in developing hazard maps. Measures and projects need to set clear goals and be conducted in transparent way to limit corruption and bad practices. Improving awareness and expertise in this area could be achieved through the development of university courses and investment in education. Now, last but not least, the current COVID-19 pandemic has highlighted the importance of properly functioning and fit-for-purpose infrastructure for the provision of essential services. Assets and services that had previously not been considered critical have become paramount in dealing with public health crisis. Now, the global pandemic underlines the fundamental role of public policies focused on prevention, resilience, and sustainability, and the need for planning and investment. At the end of the day, whether to support consumers' behavior change or to ensure an efficient and effective transition, the key to the challenge is good governance. Good disaster risk governance requires both imagination, common sense, and more than anything, it requires strong leadership. It is important that it is done well because we are in real danger for not achieving either the Sendai Framework targets or any of the SDGs. At a global level, Alessandro has already mentioned the Making Cities Resilient 2030 initiative that has been launched later in October will be an opportunity to improve support to cities and regions engaged in resilience. Now, I call upon you to join in reinforcing this important dimension in building resilience to disasters. Experience from each and every region and locality represented here can only help reinforce global efforts towards increasing resilience. I also invite you to explore our recently released report that focuses on making infrastructure resilient in Europe. And what are some of the regulatory challenges that we need to address? We often say that the worst disaster that could happen has not happened yet. Let us bear that in mind. We learn the lessons from the COVID-19 pandemic and seek to understand what is required to strengthen disaster risk governance across the region. I would once again thank the organizers of today's workshop, and I would like to reiterate that the regional cross-boundary cooperation across both national and local governments is the key to our collective success. And I'm sure lessons from this much valued project will further strengthen our approach. Thank you very much for your attention, and thank you very much for having me here.
Thank you for the interesting topic that you bring in our discussion. The focus on provision of essential services that COVID-19 makes let us understand how critical can be in cities, in rural areas, in remote areas of our territories is really a critical point, and we have to focus on it in order to be prepared, in order to apply in concrete the principle of build back better, no? Because we are going in that direction. We know that in Europe we will have extraordinary funding for building back, and we cannot lose the opportunity to build back better, no? In order to be prepared for the future. Thank you very much, and thank you also for remarking that we need for planning and investment, but we need to plan in advance before invest, and this is a logical step and a logical consequence that it is not. I have to say that we have to it is a cultural approach to be prepared. If you are not aware of the risks, conditions of the exposition of it can be critical. It can be critical to manage the crisis. It will be more critical to build back the systems, and the consequence will be very heavy for people and for local communities. Thank you very much. We took more time, but it was absolutely necessary to give you the possibility to conclude your relevant reasoning. Thank you very much. Okay, we can go on without questions, unfortunately, but we have to go to the round table. The round table, the agenda probably is one of the most important component of this meeting, because here we have a selection of representative from institutional bodies operating in the sector of low carbon transition, no? Which is a process, which is a multi-stakeholder process in which public institution, but also private sector, but also research sector are really entitled to make actions and to produce effective results. We have a long list of speakers, and we have no long time for the discussion. So I really ask you to stay in 5 minutes, and we immediately start from the Secretary of the State for Energy of Portugal. It is really an opportunity to have you here in the panel of the discussion, because you are representative of the national level, and I hope that your contribution will provide the perspective that you are you are working with today in the period of the crisis in the perspective of the European transition of low carbon economy. So I give the floor to Joao Galamba. Please, you can speak now.
Responsible for 40% of energy consumption and 36% of CO2 emissions. The two-thirds of energy consumption in buildings is used for heating and cooling. These considerations, in addition to a changing climate whose effects are increasingly evident day by day, led us to say that it's time to act. This means that the transition to a low-carbon economy has become urgent and that the intervention in building sector.
We know that Mr. Galamba is not connected yet, so we can follow the previous program. And we have a video from Domenico Tripaldi, who is a representative of Basilicata region in Italy, from Italy. So we can show this video and then to leave the floor to Lucia Briscese, who is in charge of explaining the experience of Basilicata region in this framework. Okay, thank you.
La Regione Basilicata è pienamente consapevole del ruolo che le regioni svolgono e devono svolgere in questa transizione verso un'economia low carbon. Attraverso l'adesione appunto a questo progetto, la Basilicata ha inteso rafforzare il suo impegno virtuoso a favore dell'implementazione di una roadmap verso un'economia low carbon. Malgrado ci siano state grandi mobilitazioni e grandi interessi nei confronti di queste tematiche a tutti i livelli, i partner del progetto Locarbo sono partiti da una forte convenzione di fondo. È la cooperazione tra le regioni lo strumento vincente che, attraverso lo scambio di idee, di buone pratiche e di spunti operativi, può permettere un'accelerazione in questo processo culturale che deve essere alla base di ogni cambiamento. L'action plan della Regione Basilicata, infatti, è focalizzato proprio su questo, un cambiamento culturale, un nuovo processo culturale che mette in atto delle strategie in grado di modificare i comportamenti dei soggetti energivori, nonché a mettere in atto anche quelle azioni che possono essere volte a una riduzione effettiva dei consumi energetici. Quindi la transizione verso nuova economia è essenzialmente un nuovo approccio all'economia ambientale e di conseguenza anche ai temi economici e sociali. Dobbiamo quindi imparare a ripensare i nostri modelli energetici al fine di poter cambiare il nostro modo di interfacciarci con l'ambiente. Solo attraverso questo approccio dal basso è possibile capitalizzare al massimo tutti gli sforzi strategici, amministrativi e politici che si stanno mettendo in campo. Un nuovo approccio quindi alla pianificazione energetico-ambientale che già era stato avviato anche dalla Regione Basilicata, ma che grazie alla partecipazione al progetto Locarbo ci ha dato maggiore consapevolezza dell'importanza dei comportamenti energivori e quindi ha ulteriormente rafforzato sia a livello amministrativo che a livello politico questa convinzione. I diversi stakeholder che sono stati coinvolti in questo processo di metamorfosi energetica devono adesso essere in qualche modo stimolati e seguiti. A livello amministrativo sono tutti gli uffici regionali e gli enti ricadenti nell'amministrazione regionale che sono stati appunto investiti di queste conoscenze acquisite, mentre l'interlocuzione che si instaura attraverso questa procedura deve anche essere in grado di trovare soluzioni ad alto contenuto tecnologico per l'intero mercato regionale, nazionale e internazionale, che non sempre sono stati ancora scoperti, ma che vanno individuati e messi a punto, soddisfacendo così una duplice necessità: risposte concrete ad esigenze reali e stimolo all'internazionalizzazione per le imprese che vorranno cimentarsi con questa procedura al fine di poter successivamente sfruttare gli esiti di queste ricerche innovative sui mercati. Va un sentito ringraziamento da parte mia all'assessore regionale all'ambiente Gianni Rosa, che sin dall'inizio si è dimostrato particolarmente sensibile alle tematiche interessate al progetto Locarbo, e quindi abbiamo avviato un proficuo dialogo con tutto lo staff dell'assessorato al fine di incentivare e migliorare gli sforzi della regione all'interno del progetto, in modo da poter poi proseguire anche oltre e dopo la chiusura del progetto Locarbo. E infatti l'impegno politico dell'assessore è quello di rafforzare ulteriormente le strategie politiche regionali a favore dell'efficientamento energetico, della riduzione dei consumi, dell'introduzione di tecnologie smart e di ultima generazione che possano gettare le basi per una nuova economia sostenibile e low carbon. L'impegno dell'assessore è appunto quello di un nuovo piano regionale di indirizzo energetico ed ambientale che possa, in questa nuova appunto cornice normativa, sancire più esplicitamente questo approccio nuovo alle tematiche dell'efficientamento energetico e un orientamento più spiccato verso un'economia low carbon. Tutto ciò ci consente di poter affermare che il progetto Low Carbon della Regione Basilicata ha pienamente soddisfatto i risultati tangibili ed intangibili richiesti appunto dai programmi Interreg, promuovendo la coesione economica e sociale ed energetica attraverso la cooperazione internazionale e transfrontaliera. L'esperienza diretta in Low Carbon, le lezioni apprese, i risultati ottenuti saranno un validissimo supporto per il legislatore regionale, che potrà così più consapevolmente sviluppare soluzioni strategiche integrate con le peculiarità territoriali volte al passaggio ad un'economia low carbon.
Okay, this message, even if in Italian, was concerning the declaration of commitment by Basilicata region in operating toward the low carbon objectives. We have to make some changes in the program because someone is missing. So now I have to call Mark Gioslin. Sorry for the pronunciation, of course. And he is from UK, from the Ministry of Housing, Communities and Local Governments. So he is a really qualified speaker concerning the management of ERDF funds in Britain. And so I asked him to make his intervention concerning the general topic of this roundtable. Thank you very much, Mark, for joining this section. Mark, are you here? Probably there is a problem with the connection. Probably there is a problem. Okay, Mark is connected. Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. The floor is yours.
Thank you. I did have.
Okay, Mark is connected. Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. The floor is yours.
Thank you. So I get terrible feedback. Thank you. Sorry, this is, I can't.
I believe that you have to stop your video probably on YouTube. There is a problem. Okay, it seems goes better.
No, it's gone.
We have some connection problems, probably.
Is that working now?
Yes, it works. Your microphone is muted, Mark.
Is that working? Sorry, I'm not great with technology. Apologies. I did have a presentation. I'm not sure how I'd get it up. But just to say, it's been an absolute pleasure to work on Locarbo with the team in Durham. It's been really interesting to look at some of the challenges that we're facing. Some of the key challenges we're facing in the UK, I think, are reflected across Europe. Retrofitting housing stock, balancing the grid to keep the lights on. One particular challenge is, as we increasingly looked for energy from electricity, behaviour change, which is one of the areas which, in another Interreg project, we're working with Durham on.
Some connection problems. We again have problems. Mark, if you can hear me, go on, because we were listening to you. Okay, we have to move to another speaker. We have Luigi Emanuele Marsico, who is the president of Basilicata Energy Cluster. Basilicata Energy Cluster is one of the major results of Basilicata region policy concerning energy efficiency and the energy transition towards low carbon economy. Please, Emanuele, thank you for being here. I hope that the connection works well. So the floor is yours. Take your 5 minutes, and thank you for your contribution. Emanuele, thank you for being here. I hope that the connection works well. So the floor is yours. Take your 5 minutes, and thank you for your contribution.
Okay, thank you, Francesco. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes. It works. You can speak.
Can you hear me? Okay. Thank you. Hello to everyone. I gladly accepted President Guarino's invitation to participate in this important final conference of the project. So allow me to thank, as well as President Guarino and his team, our staff, organizers, and partners of the project for inviting me to make my contribution as President of Basilicata ITS Energy Cluster. I did not follow the project by beginning, but I really appreciated the setting and the thematic focus of the same. I will be quite brief, but allow me a few minutes to introduce my structure for some consideration about. The energy cluster of Basilicata was born in 2018 in implementation of the smart specialization strategy of Basilicata region, which identified the energy sector among the area of intelligence and specialization. The goal is to provide advanced and coordinated answer of the strategic issue of the energy sector that now more than ever needs research and innovation, especially in Basilicata, a region that stands out national and European for its fossil mineral resources, but also for the unique territorial future that allow the implementation of almost of renewable sources. The role of the energy cluster is to carry out the coordination function between public and private research, connecting the university and the other research organization present in the area with the local company. interact with the regional and national policymaker, outline a new development opportunity by reconciling national policies and territorial needs, creating the condition to seize the countless opportunities that Europe makes available to the territories on the eve of great opportunities such as the Next Generation EU and the challenge of a European Green Deal. The Basilicata Energy Cluster, as I said before, was born only 2 years ago, and it is therefore its full startup phase. However, it's already aggregated and involved an important number of business and research organizations operating in the energy sector of different type and size, about 16 subjects, concerning on strategic issues such as the circular economy, second generation renewable energy sources, therefore hydrogen, smart grid, sustainable buildings, and so on. The energy sector is the most strategic sector in economy of the global scale because it is central to every production sector. The lockdown resulting from the COVID-19 pandemic has, as far as possible, highlighted this aspect. The energy industry, together with other strategic sectors, has in fact made it possible to warrant the stability of the country system in somewhat problematic situation. However, it's clear that there have been and will be falls in energy demand, including important ones such as a characterization of economic dynamics and of commodity prices, as we can see in the last period. Despite this situation, the path towards the energy transition drove further growth at the international level, precisely from the EU Next Generation Plan, which invests over a third of total resources in this specific issue. It's therefore an important opportunity for growth and development, which confirm the proactive role that structure as a cluster can play on the territorial level in support of institutions. Basilicata must be a full protagonist in the energy transition, precisely because of its particularly and priority location, both in the production of energy from renewable sources and from fossil sources. However, the objective of green energy production are correlated to the level of concrete feasibility of authorization procedures. It's therefore necessary to proceed to a strong acceleration of authorization procedures, and it would be important to define a territorial regional strategic plan, a detailed planning, in order to maximize investments in this direction and to limit environmental impact on the speculative operations. However, it should be noted that the energy transition is not around the corner due to the extreme complexity of the energy system as a whole. It's not easy to get rid in short term from the use of fossil resources, both internationally and nationally. An example is still the largest difference in production cost between hydrogen based on fossil fuel with an average cost of 1.5 euros per kilogram and the production of renewable hydrogen by electrolysis with cost of 2.5 to 5.5 euro per kilogram. This not means slowing down the path of decarbonization and the energy transition, but just the opposite. The direction is traced and it's necessary to follow it with decision and with vision, starting however from the territory, from the diversity and the potential of each territory, trying to maximize the transition while preventing the identity and the vocation of each of them. Things are happening, and the pandemic emergency has increased the sensitivity and the attention to the economic and social sustainability, drawing attention to increasing circularity and sustainable models. There is no turning back, it's clear. Also because the energy transition as vector, such as renewable sources, as gas, as hydrogen, must be implemented for the great effect that they produce on each local economic dimension. Okay, I stop here. Thank you very much to everyone. Thank you, Alessandro. Thanks, Mr. President Guarino. Good luck to everyone.
Thank you, Luigi, for your speech. Thank you for highlighting the fact that the transition depends on local characteristics. So we have general topics, we have the contribution of technologies, but we have to connect them to the local issues that has to be faced, has to be solved, and brings to different solutions in different regions. So this is a very important thing. Now we go on with Gedrius Jecevic. I met Gedrius several times, and I'm very honored to have him here connected in in a new position, in an additional position, because Gedrius today is a representative of as a chairman of the board of a public institution of a Lithuanian agency, energy agency. So Gedrius, it's a pleasure to see you again, and thank you for your contribution.
Thank you, Francesco. Can you hear me? I think yes. Yeah.
Yes, it works. It works perfect.
Okay, I will try to share my background and show a few slides. And I know I have only 5 minutes, but I try to be very fast. Can you share my slides? Can you see my slides? Is it okay now?
It goes well. Yes, it works. Okay.
Okay, so I would like to talk from perspectives of Lithuania Energy Agency and Ministry of Lithuania Energetics or Energy, and to share some practice goals and role of Locarbo project. Yes, so basically we have two main documents, strategical documents in Lithuania for our low carbon economy. So we have National Energy and Climate Action Plan, and we have National Energy Independence Strategy. And I'm going to talk just about district heating sector, because it's the main role, the main sector for energy saving. I mean about heat energy saving. Yes, and you can see we have different stakeholders in Lithuania and different countries, like heating producers, heating and hot water suppliers, and the most important sector or part of this sector is heating and hot water consumers. There are buildings, I mean, and we have goals and objectives of the heating sector. So we have reduction of heating energy prices and pollution, very important. Next one, we have reduction of heating transmission losses and promotion of trade on the energy resources exchange. And Lithuania has really ambitious targets or goals by 2050. We have target to be very low carbon economy, and for example, renewable energy sources share in district heating supply sector must be 100% by 2050. Looks very nice, but we have a big problem. And this problem is energy intensity. Yes, and Locarbo, this project helped for us to solve this problem, because energy intensity in Lithuania, it's approximately 40% higher than average of EU 28. And building sectors, I mean multi-apartment buildings or residential buildings, this sector has big potential, because approximately more than half of heat energy is consumed in this sector. So this is very important and big potential, and it's our goals in national level and energy level, I would say. I'm not going to details about this, but I would like to share some minds that our goal by 2030 to decrease energy intensity 1.5 times comparing to 2018 and 2.4 times by 2050. So we have large numbers, and you can see the chart of energy intensity reduction, and you can see that 2.4 times energy intensity must be decreased or reduced by 2050, and the main action should be oriented to heat energy saving to the private or public buildings. Yes, and you can see the same information in a different way. So, for example, in different numbers, we must save from 5 to 6 terawatt hours by 20-30 years. And the main tools or administration tools, we have renovation of multi-apartment buildings and public buildings as well. So I'm not going to details. So thank you for all project partners, for organization, for action plans, and your role was very, very significant. And thank you so much.
Okay, very good, Gedre. Thank you also for the very short and very effective presentation. I am aware of the huge effort in Lithuania concerning energy renovation in residential buildings and other categories, and it is really an example for other countries to be followed in order to face these critical, how can I say, critical groups of intervention that has to be considered in order to achieve effective energy saving in the perspective of 2015. Thank you very much, Gidris. I would like to go on with Katalin Barna from Hungary. He is representative of the International Affairs Division of the Managing Authorities of Hungary. I believe that the authorities that deals with structural funds management and programming. So, Katalin, the floor is yours. Thank you for being here, and we wait for your words. And the time is very strict, 5 minutes. So, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the invitation for this final conference of the Locarbo project. I would like to share my screen. Can you hear me, first of all?
Yes, it works well.
Okay, and share screen. Can you see my screen as well?
Yeah, okay, it works.
Okay, perfect. Then first of all, I would like to thank for the Hungarian partner for getting involved us in this Locarbo project, which was very useful for us for improving the economic development and innovation operational program, especially the priority 4, which focuses on energy efficiency. Some words about the background of this operational program. We vision that 40% of the energy consumption takes place in buildings. So that's why it's very important to focus on this part of the energy sector, where we want to decrease increase the efficiency of the Hungarian sector. The thermal energy modernization of SMEs and improving the buildings and properties is very important, and non-productive heating, cooling, and modernization of water systems, and also fuel efficiency and high efficiency equipment and lighting systems. That's why the 4th priority of economic development and innovation operational program aims to support building energy efficiency investments at the small and medium-sized enterprises and the use of renewable energy sources, mainly photovoltaics and geothermal heat pumps at the SMEs. And these two kind of supports lead us to help decarbonization of the economy of the SME scale. Some words about this priority in a nutshell to how it improved. In the first steps, coming from a previous operational program project, in which there was a survey 120,000 companies, and in the second step, the Hungarian partner, the MI6, made some recommendation for us to improve the SME level energy efficiency goals in the operational program. However, we did not have the chance to take into account all of the recommendations. So the first cause was not so successful, and in the third step, the Locarbo project came into the focus. And thanks to the project and recommendations coming from the project and group practices, we try to improve our cause to get a better suit to the market needs. And this lead us to a new cause, which was launched in 2019 and 2020. This was much more successful. And the next steps, the MI6 developed a platform which supports the market uptake and gives us recommendations on available funds. And we would like to use it for the next programming period. And I will come back to this next period in a few slides. What was the low carb added value to our OP? We received best practices from Interact community, and in the case of co-developments and regulations, and also from the Locarbo partners, from which the British and Italian was very interesting for us. And the pilot projects as well from Britain and Italy and Romania, and also the Hungarian virtual power plant program was useful in connection with our improving calls. And what about the future plans? Unfortunately, no. First of all, the kind of economic development innovation programs supporting energy efficiency will be continued in the next period. The structure of the cause will be like in this period, so it will stay the same. But here comes the sorry part, that this project and this cause will be not in the scope of the Ministry of Finance's managing authority, because another operational program will include this kind of calls, and the managing authority will be the Ministry of Innovation and Technology in the future. But I'm sure that the Hungarian partner, the MI6, will continue to support the development of the future cause as well, based on the low carbo practices. I would like to thank you for your attention, and especially for the low carbo partners for giving us this very, very useful good practices. And special thanks to the Hungarian partner who delivered it to us, and the lead partner for organizing this online event. Thank you very much.
Thanks to you, Katalin, for this intervention. As we are in a round table now, we may move to some question and answer. I would like to stimulate the reflection of the invited speakers about how to place this low carbon perspective. I mean, the perspective of the project, compared, of course, with your institutional strategic point of view, to the European movement connected with the New Green Deal. No, we know that we are going toward a new seasons for investing in a sustainable Europe, I may say, in a sustainable future. So And today we know that this is a process, of course, and we know that there are some issues that are already highlighted by European Union. One of those issues is to go toward a just transition mechanism. I may translate just in many ways, like equitative, like effective, like capable to achieve results without producing disparities for people and so on. So I would like to take your point of view about how we can achieve a just transition toward low carbon economy. I believe it's a challenging discussion. So I ask you really to give us your perspectives about that. So I would like to start again. Okay, now the screen allows us to see the speakers. So I would like to start with Mr. Marsico, who was the first speaker, and then I would like to go to Gedrius and to Katalin in order to make with you an open discussion, fixing some measure points and critical points about my stimulating question, I believe. Sorry. From my technical services, invite me to start with Katalin. So, Katalin, let's start with you because it is easy from a technical point of view. So, the topic is how can we achieve a just transition toward the low carbon economy?
It's a very interesting question, and it's I think it's the very focusing on the low carbon project. It's how to say it's very important to build in the energy efficiency in all kind of calls for proposals from our side. So we cannot just focus on the energy efficiently projects. We need to build in this priority to all calls of proposals. So so I think that the low carbon partnership has to work with the managing authority continuously and not stop here at the final conference, and share the practices from the project and try to develop the next programming period calls as well.
Okay, thank you, Katalin.
Yeah.
I know that there is also a delegate from the measure of Alba Iulia connected. I know his name, Marius, but I have not the surname, and I invite him to take the floor. Hello, welcome. We have some problem in the connection today, but really, I thank you for being here. So you can take the floor.
Can you hear me?
Yes, thanks.
Okay. Hello, everyone from Alba Iulia, Romania. And thank you for your invitation. I know the time is very important for everyone, so I'll try to have a not very long intervention. I want to present in a few words what our town made and what are our future plans. So in 2010, Alba Iulia municipality joined the Covenant of Mayors initiative promoted by the European Commission. So we decided that we want to reduce carbon dioxide emission on our territory by 24% by 2020. Then in 2016, we joined to the new objectives of the Covenant of Mayors on Energy and Climate. So in this year, we assumed to reduce by 40% CO2 emission by 2030, reporting to the reference year 2008. Also, we assume to create and implement an action plan for adaptation to climate change. The strategy of Alba Iulia municipality is focused on the main instruments of European and national policy on adaptation to the climate change. So we have three important strategic directions. First is the building sector, public, tertiary, and residential. This sector, with the largest share of energy consumption, about 40% of total consumption, and therefore with the greatest potential for savings. By regulation at the local level, all new buildings must have a superior energy performance from this point of view. So another line is the investment works in the modernization of system, installation of buildings, integration of intelligent consumption registration, automation of control system, but also measures to change the behavior of building users. Another important strategic direction is the transport sector. We think this is the second sector as potential for energy savings, emissions, reductions. So this sector is in fact the subject of an integrated package of measures. We launched this package by the Plan for Sustainable Urban Mobility for the years 2017-2030. In this moment, we are implementing projects on regional operational program for over 29 million euro on mobility. Our aims is to promoting and developing electromobility by increasing the use of electric vehicles in transport sector. The third important strategic direction is involvement of citizens and stakeholders. We think this is a very important direction, and we will make awareness campaigns about efficient use of energy resources, sustainable transport, sustainable production and consumption. These are the third very important direction we consider. Our vision for adapting the climate change is built around the local authority effort to ensure a sustainable future for our citizens, working to reduce the impact to some climate change already has at the local level. So in this field of action, our municipality wishes to align ourselves with the steps taken by other municipalities of Europe and globally in the common effort to adapt the climate change, limit greenhouse gas emission, and to ensure a quality life for our citizens. We have some ideas for the futures, for example, implementation of intelligent electricity metering system on buildings, commercial space, offices of economic agents. So other future plan is to increase energy efficiency and measures for the use of local renewable energy sources of educational buildings in Alba Iulia. So the third future plan is to increase the use of electric vehicles in the transport sector. These are what we want to do in the future in a few words. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marius. Thank you. I have to point out that Alba Iulia is really representative of the huge number of municipalities in Europe which are really committed with sustainable planning and energy transition. Of course, in the scope of their capacity to act with intervention, investment, and specific instances on their territory. We went there through Locarbo study visit, and we take advantages to see how they realize concretely intervention, and we perceive also the benefits that citizens get from this kind of action. Dear Marius, I would like to propose you my general question about how this transition could become just. It means equitable for citizens, making available for them effective opportunities, to improve the quality of life in our cities and territories.
Yes. The final scope is, or goal is to improve the life of the citizens. This is not very easy to do, because when we work with citizens, it's not very simple always. But I think it needs a lot of work. This is clear. And I think the public authority, for example, we as a public authority, we have a very, very important role in this process.
Yes, I believe that this is a really, how can I say, rational understanding of the actual condition.
There are a lot of steps we have to do. We will do, but I repeat, it's a lot of work for this.
Okay, I don't know if Gedris is still connected. If you can show him in the video, it would be nice. Gedris, what do you think about my question? Have you got some highlights or some additional information to give?
About Green Deal and other funds and tools and strategy. Yeah, I would like to start from the strategy. It's the most important thing to have long-term strategy and short-term strategy, and the national level, and later to go to the municipality level, and so on. And we must understand climate change, Green Deal, this is not a future, this is our present, and we must understand that it's important, not only from the financing, not only from the finance side, but also from the sustainable development and so on. So I would like to advise maybe to add some notes that municipalities should take more efforts, and this should be like an obligation, I would say, because if not, sometimes for people it's not easy to understand that environmental protection, sustainable development, it's very important, and it's nowadays problem, actually, I would say. So I think, financing benefit should be support for energy savings, for technology, but should be very strict obligations for national level, for municipalities, and for every person. So I think strategy, long-term, short-term strategy, planning, organization, development, and monitoring. And it's one way to achieve this. Green Deal issues or climate changes issues or low carbon economy. It's the same topic and the same field. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Geders. Yes, it is the case to work on integration of different sectors, different intervention, and also to think probably in a different way, because we have to be aware that since pandemic crisis never will be the same, no, in the future. So we have to change the way how to think to specific investments, to focus, for instance, on infrastructure, to focus on technology, and forgetting, for instance, people who should be again in the center of this policy, these instruments, these long-term strategies, as you mentioned, and so on. And this is a radical change of thinking and acting, of course, towards green deals and sustainable future in European countries. So I know that we have a video from a councillor by Basilicata region. He cannot attend the round table, but finally they managed to send this communication. And I'm very glad to close this roundtable with the video by Gianni Rosa, Councillor for Energy and Environment at Basilicata region.
In primis vi porgo i saluti dell'assessore Gianni Rosa, che è fortemente dispiaciuto per la sua impossibilità a portare personalmente la sua testimonianza. Tuttavia, l'assessorato ambiente ed energia della regione Basilicata intende fortemente aderire ai lavori di questo pregevole progetto Locarbo. Come ben sappiamo, la strategia europea 2020 ha stabilito che la crescita sostenibile è una delle sue 3 priorità per realizzare un'economia low carbon ed efficiente dal punto di vista delle risorse. La crescita sostenibile è nel contempo una sfida importante e un'opportunità per tutti gli Stati membri, ma soprattutto per tutte le regioni dell'Unione Europea. In un'economia sostenibile e quindi competitiva può tradursi in maggiori posti di lavoro e maggiori opportunità per il mercato, in particolare attraverso le leve dell'efficienza energetica e delle risorse naturali. Questo aiuta l'economia dell'Unione Europea ad uscire dalla crisi finanziaria, prevenendo nel contempo il degrado ambientale e tutelando il patrimonio naturale. Questo approccio deve sottostare a tutti gli sforzi economici, sociali e di coesione territoriale. In questo ambito, il successo nel raggiungimento degli obiettivi del 2020 in Europa dipenderà in larga parte dalle decisioni assunte a livello locale e regionale, come sottolineato nella comunicazione sulla politica regionale a sostegno della crescita sostenibile in Europa 2020. Anche attraverso l'adesione al progetto Locarbo, la Regione Basilicata ha messo in pratica la teoria attraverso un approccio analitico e strategico per realizzare una reale transizione verso una low carbon economy a livello regionale. Ci congratuliamo con tutti i partner per i successi conseguiti, incoraggiandoli a continuare nei propri sforzi e a condividere le lezioni apprese e le esperienze con le altre regioni dell'Unione Europea. Il nostro assessorato intende capitalizzare pienamente le tematiche Locarbo, volte all'efficientamento energetico derubricato in tutte le sue varianti per rendere la regione Basilicata pioniere di una reale trasformazione verso un futuro low carbon, nella convinzione che queste misure nel contempo possano rafforzare l'economia e la crescita occupazionale regionale. Il nostro impegno come assessorato intende superare i confini temporali del progetto Locarbo attraverso la definizione di un piano di indirizzo energetico e ambientale che rafforzi ulteriormente l'impegno normativo della Regione Basilicata in questo campo. Inoltre, anche il piano paesaggistico della Regione Basilicata sancirà ulteriormente, attraverso una serie di normative energetiche, l'impegno virtuoso e concreto della Basilicata a sostegno della transizione verso un'economia a bassa emissione di carbonio. La transizione energetica non può e non deve nel 2020 essere intesa esclusivamente come cambiamento tecnologico e industriale, ma come veicolo per ricadute sociali, economiche e psicologiche sulla vita delle comunità locali. Resta evidente che il processo di decarbonizzazione rischia di imboccare strade senza uscita quando non tiene conto delle specificità dei singoli territori. In questo senso il progetto Locarbo ha permesso di catalizzare soluzioni e spunti operativi che possano agevolare le scelte strategiche in materia di politica ambientale ed energetica della Regione. Il programma Interreg ci lascia inoltre un'ulteriore conferma. Questa transizione può essere affrontata solo in maniera olistica. Ognuno di noi, ogni legislatore come noi, deve affrontare la questione a livello locale e regionale, tenendo in debita considerazione tutte le peculiarità e le vocazioni territoriali. Gli impatti delle strategie europee devono necessariamente partire dall'assunto che la stima dei caratteri distintivi dei territori è l'unica chiave di lettura per una pianificazione efficace di processi di attuazione regionale. La transizione verso un'economia più verde e senza carbonio richiederà quindi lo sforzo collaborativo sia dei legislatori, delle aziende, delle società civili, dei cittadini nel ripensare e nel ridefinire i motori tradizionali della prosperità e della ricchezza. Le problematiche ambientali costituiscono, insieme alla necessità di un utilizzo sostenibile delle risorse naturali, un criterio guida essenziale per il rinnovamento dei modelli produttivi. Occorre quindi puntare su una nuova visione del sistema economico fondata su maggiore condivisione, che passa necessariamente attraverso la sostenibilità dello sviluppo. In questa prospettiva occorrerà continuare a puntare su nuove tecnologie, sulle fonti rinnovabili, sull'efficienza energetica, soprattutto sulla ricerca e sull'innovazione, sulla tutela e sulla promozione del patrimonio naturale e culturale. Questo per riprendere un cammino di sviluppo durevole e sostenibile. Vi ringraziamo per l'impegno fin qui profuso e vi esortiamo a continuare tutti insieme verso un futuro più sostenibile. Buon lavoro a tutti.
Okay, I know that in the province of Potenza is now available also the president of the province, who is following this working day, and probably we may give the floor to Alessandro, who can involve the president for a short welcome speech. Welcome speech. Good morning, Mr. President. Good morning.
Good morning.
We use the mask because we are in the COVID period.
Good morning, Mr. President. Good morning.
Thank you very much for being here.
Buongiorno a tutti,
Un saluto a tutti gli studenti che sono collegati.
Thank you very much for being here.
A loro un saluto particolare, affettuoso, a loro i docenti per questo momento particolare. Siamo alla chiusura di questo progetto Locarbo che ha visto molti protagonisti nell'attività di valorizzazione dell'ambiente, di buone pratiche di vita, della natura. Nelle buone pratiche della vita quotidiana, nel rispetto della natura e investendo su nuove tecnologie, quindi attraverso la ricerca, investendo in apparecchiature che consumano meno energia e investendo in apparecchiature che producono energia non inquinando l'ambiente, l'aria, la terra, le acque, che sono una risorsa straordinaria del nostro pianeta. Un cambio di rotta, un'attività alla quale la provincia di Potenza, insieme e attraverso l'attività continua e quotidiana dei suoi funzionari e dei suoi dirigenti, in modo particolare dell'ingegnere Attolico, al quale va il mio ringraziamento particolare, attraverso lui a tutto il suo staff, ha investito molto per cambiare il modo di vivere di tutti noi. E questo lavoro svolto
lo mettiamo a disposizione dei nostri studenti, degli studenti europei e degli studenti del mondo intero, perché attraverso questi comportamenti vogliamo consegnare alle nuove generazioni un mondo più bello, un mondo non inquinato, così come, ahimè, chi ci ha preceduto e noi stessi ha contribuito a non farlo. Questo è il messaggio che io vi lancio, e quindi siamo sì alla chiusura di un progetto, ma siamo di fatto all'inizio di un nuovo percorso. Grazie a tutti e vi auguro una buona giornata e buon lavoro.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just few words. I would like to translate few words of his intervention. He finally mentioned that we are at the end of a project, but we started a new phases in action for the territory. This is very important, and it is relevant that the president of the province, so the head of the political representative of the province, shows this kind of commitment. This is really a good and important results from our collaboration. Okay, I believe that we are perfectly on time, and we can move to the final session, in which the Locarbo partners will show their experience in the project. I know that each partner prepared a very short presentation concerning outcomes and the results, and all of them knows that no more than 10 minutes for each speaker can be used. So I would like to start with this second section of presentation with the province of Potenza. And we have Rosalia Smaldone, who is responsible of the technical staff of the province operating in Locarbo. So Rosalia, you can take the floor. Okay, thank you very much.
Good morning to everybody. I'm Rosalia Smaldone, Technical Officer of the Province of Potenza. Screen share, just a moment. Okay. I'm going to present you the action plan implemented and the pilot action carried out by the province of Potenza within this great project Locarbo. The action plan of the province of Potenza is based on 3 domains of intervention: young people in action, that is a path for young people, in particular students of high school of the province of Potenza, with the idea of providing them of competencies and know-how in this new process of sustainable development, climate change contrasting policies, DRR, and the idea is to enable them with this competence in order to stimulate in them a sort of process of knowledge application, stimulating their creativity. Another domain of intervention is the reinforcement of the existing network of municipalities and communities of the province of Potenza, reinforcing in particular with focus on the themes of low carbon local development and in general sustainable development, and last but not the least, communities for change, enhancing, emphasizing the coordination role of the province of Potenza under the covenant of measure. The province of Potenza is the coordinator of this EU initiative on the provincial territory. Let's go to the results achieved. School programs elaborated for these young people with the idea of stimulating them the creation of the development of idea project on the topics and widespread of good practices in particular good practices from the Locarbo project, and thematic seminars are planned and organized in the school with the idea of learning by seeing. In particular, let them understand the public intervention realized in their schools in terms of energy efficiency and use of renewable sources, and outlined in general of local, national, EU, and global policies in these themes, and the commitment in the short and medium term of the province of Potenza regarding the covenant of measures for climate and energy. For the second domain of intervention, the reinforcement of the network, information during the project, in particular the second phase of the project, thanks to action plan, lots of information are provided to the key stakeholders, in particular technicians and policymakers of our municipality, to let them design and build a new proposal in the application for structural funds, EU funds. A technical support was provided with the good practice on the thematic of energy efficiency and use of renewable sources, and also in collaboration, of course, with the university and in general of the research world, studies for that can be a good, useful basis for elaborate this project on low carbon economy. Regarding the action under the Covenant of Mayor, help desk for technicians have been organized, help assistance provided. The link between the local, national, EU level of these initiatives have been assured during all the project. They will be assured for the future. And thanks to the network, the international network of the province of Potenza, local initiatives of the municipalities in this field have been benefited of this international and European dimension. The lessons learned in particular regarding the active involvement of the young people. I take the occasion to say hello to all the students and teachers that are following us in this final event. We are really proud to stimulate in them this process to be an active part of this sustainable development, in particular in this historical moment of crisis, and for the restart after the crisis. We can it is clear that with these young people help in assisting and providing information to these young people in this transformation can be useful to change families, but at the end, all the society, and assure the cultural transition that is necessary now or never to contrast the effect of climate change at local, at global level. Success stories are also related to the reinforcement of the network. We are really proud to also in this case capitalize the Locarbo results to be useful for our communities, for our municipalities, and moreover, all these capitalized results, all the interregional knowledge acquired during the project are now part of our political instrument, our coordination plan, and so all these good practice and this knowledge can be widespread all over our territory. Just this last point, we have the opportunity in 2019 to provide an international dimension to Locarbo and to the platform of the stakeholder involved in this project. A city-to-city exchange was hosted by the province of Potenza with some municipalities of Tunisia and Mauritania, thanks to the support of UNDRR, UNDP, and in that context, it was really useful to let discuss together Locarbo stakeholder with these different reality. It is a good food for thoughts, this meeting. But not only action plan, we had the fortune to carry out a pilot action that luckily has been carried out as planned, except just little modification due to the COVID. And the pilot action is based on the implementation on a good practice acquired during the Locarbo knowledge process, WPPP, the good practice realized by MI6, that it's a good practice for monitoring all the savings and the cutoff of greenhouse gases thanks to energy efficiency and RES intervention, but in a really multi-stakeholder, with a really multi-stakeholder approach, because the responsible municipalities, SME, NGO that are part of this process are actively engaged, and some of them are also awarded for their efforts. We are really proud with MI6 to have reached these two great results. Potential capacity of the platform in the province of Potenza of 3 megawatt, and more than 43,000 greenhouse gases saved during the project. During the action plan, the pilot action, we not only have implemented this good practice, but we have realized also something for our municipality, in particular a small tool that for our municipalities, for our school, to let them be part of this energy transition, provided them with some tools of self-assessment of carbon footprint that are effective means to let people understand their footprint in every action put in place every day, and that can be a powerful mean for raising awareness on the topics of mitigation and adaptation to climate change. Also, a sustainable rule book has been elaborated during the action plan, the pilot action, addressing issues concerning the sustainable management of schools and public buildings in general, working of saving energy with good behaviors put in place by employees, by students, the use of green procurement, digitalization of documents in order to save papers, and all collecting and recycling waste, all good practices in every sector that are related in general in the management of public buildings, and that we have started in some public buildings and some schools, but our idea is to widespread all over our territory. So the future is this, to capitalize this result widespread all over our territory, as a basis for the restart at local level from COVID emergency, but in a different way. It is the moment to think the world in a different way. It is the moment for a sustainable and resilient development for the territories, under the umbrella, of course, of the European Green Deal. And last but not the least, with regard of our provincial territory, Locarbo results are capitalized to be part of our implementation process in our territory of the international agenda, Sustainable Development Agenda, Sendai Framework, and Paris Agreement, of course, under our strategy #WeResilient. That's all. Thank you for your kind attention.
Yes, you took more than the 10 minutes you have at your disposal, so we may go fast.
Francesco, I can't.
To next speaker, who is Lucia Briscese. She's representative of Basilicata region who participated in the project as managing authority of structural development funds. So Lucia, please take the floor, show your presentation. Thanks for being here. You have to turn on the microphone, Lucia.
Okay, can you hear me? Yes, okay. Thank you to you. Welcome to you all. I'm going to share the screen for my presentation. Okay. Can you see it?
Still not.
Still no. No, non si vede così. Devo andare... Non si vede la presentazione. Non fa la condivisione.
Se tu la apri, la tieni aperta prima e poi
sì,
la apri come finestra, dovresti riuscire.
Non ce la fa. Can you see it? No, not yet. Come facciamo? Maybe it's better than I start later. I try with another PC.
Okay, we can do this. Okay, let's go on. Okay. So now we have Carla Pires from the municipality of Villanova de Gaia, our host for this meeting. Carla,
Hi.
please.
Hi, good morning, Francesco, and good morning, everyone. I'm here representing the municipality of Villanova de Gaia, and I will share with you a brief view of the action plan implementation here in Villanova de Gaia. Hi, good morning, Francesco. Are you hearing me now?
Yes, now I hear you well.
Okay, thank you, Francesco. Good morning.
If you stop YouTube playing is better because there is an echo.
Okay, but I'm only use my laptop and the microphone. Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm here to share with you the implementation of the action plan in Villanova de Gaia. It will be a brief presentation. Okay, I think now it will be on the screen. Okay, can you confirm that, Francesco? Can you see my presentation now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So as I said, it's a brief view of the action plan implementation here in Villanova de Gaia. Our target was to develop a plan to reduce the project energy use in public buildings with a special focus on the municipality public housing stock. The major action of the plan refers to the energy rehabilitation of social housing buildings and is linked to the defined performance indicator. This action foresees the implementation of energy efficiency measures in a total of 50 buildings, something like 739 dwellings under municipal management, and we hope that it will result in a reduction on 1.3 gigawatts hour here in useful energy consumptions. But more important that we tend to do is, I think, is what have we done till now? And we have started to improve the energy performance and quality of buildings to reduce the needs of energy. By now, two social housing neighborhoods have been retrofitted using the funds from the target policy instrument that you pretend to use in this action plan and in the project. And we have achieved a reduction of almost 1/3 part of the energy consumption defined in our performance indicator. We have other 13 submitted projects who have been granted financial support through the policy instrument, and we expect to start the energy rehabilitation works in the beginning of the next year, not in the time frame from the action plan, but we still go on with that. On the other hand, taking into account the main goal of the Locarbo project, and the main goal is the energy consumers' behavior change, as you know, we have been working close to the residents of the social housing, developing awareness and raising on energy poverty. The municipality distributes flyers to social housing residents, including advice for saving energy while maintaining term and comfort. And hydrothermal data has been collected from the social housing dwellings, and the survey has been conducted with the residents. So, sorry, please. Francesco, sorry, but they are saying to me that you are not seeing my presentation.
Presentation mode. So please click on presentation mode.
But I'm
We can see PowerPoint, but PowerPoint is not.
Yeah, they're saying that. Sorry for that. And now you it's again.
Perfect. Okay.
No, it's not perfect. Sorry for that.
Oh, it is okay. It works.
But my colleagues here, they are saying to me that it's not working, and because I cannot see the presentation, what is on streaming and then the presentation. So. This is not good. Okay, now it's good, right?
No. It's not in presentation mode. We see PowerPoint, but it is not in presentation mode. Before was perfect.
But the problem is not that, Francesco, because the presentation is running here in presentations mode, but you only see the first image that I shared.
In any case, your speech was so clear, even in numbers.
So I will try again to share the screen, and I continue with my speech. If it not work. Okay, I will try to continue with my speech. Let me see if what I was talking about, because I'm seeing my presentation. So I was telling you that, in the other hand, taking into account the main goal of Locarbo project, the energy consumers' behavior change, we have been working close to the residents, and we have developed any other lines of actions from the action plan, like the municipality distribute flyers to social housing residents, including advice for saving energy while maintaining term and comfort. And we also have started hydrothermal data collected from the social housing, and the survey has been conducted with the residents. In terms of results, one key deliverable was to discover the importance of the promotion of actions leading to energy and environmental sustainability, with special focus on the consumer behavior. And the knowledge that results from the lessons learned with this international cooperation show us that actions as empowering households to discover and change consumption patterns, or the promotion of technical support and raise awareness to energy efficiency to citizens, special to the most vulnerable to the energy prices, can help to achieve positive results to the transition for a low-carbon economy. The Locarbo project has helped us to find new ways to work with reducing energy consumption. In the Portuguese context, there's a lack of programs dealing exclusively with the social housing sector. In fact, there are existence of large number of policy instruments that can be used to support the retrofitting of social neighborhoods. and a lack of coordination between these instruments in very aspects like special coverage, funding sources, eligibility criteria, types of interventions supported. And this is very difficult for us to deal with that because real energy consumption by social housing residents in Portugal is considerably lower than the estimated based on the nominal heating and cooling needs of the dealing. The main focus of energy rehabilitation should be to improve occupants' comfort through passive systems that do not require energy consumptions, rather than reducing the energy bill. It's recommended to adopt a new approach in forecasting the results of social housing rehabilitation interventions based on a field monitoring of parameters such as occupation, consumption, and ventilation habits, instead of focus mainly on energy certification levels, which have a very limited scope. And that's what we are doing now. And we think that must change in the future. And for sure that we want to do much more in the next years. And we saw an opportunity in the future to contribute to influence the next environment program with behavioral change. The focus should be consumer behavior and energy performance of buildings, on how local stakeholders and governments can act to enhance energy efficiency and the promotion of actions leading to energy environment sustainability. And we also think that is very important to promote the cooperation with managing authorities, to raise awareness of the need of the constitution of a political committee for the discussion and evaluation of local and regional energy. We think that is also important to integrate financial instruments to energy efficiency program to ensure that the physical and the social regenerations go hand to hand. And that's what we are hoping to do in the next years, in the future that we expect to see. And I think it's all. I'll have to thank you for hearing me, and I'm sorry for not share the presentation with you. I don't know what is the problem, and I don't have any help here, technical help here.
No,
thank
perfect,
you.
Carla. Perfect, Carla. Thank you. The message
Okay,
is
thank you, Francesco. I'll be there if you have any questions.
Yes, of the many efforts that you make in this. Okay, let's go on with Durham County Council from United Kingdom. Helen should be connected with us. Yeah. Okay. So even if Brexit occurs, we are strongly connected with the United Kingdom.
Yes, absolutely. We're still here.
So the floor is yours, Helen.
Okay. So I'm hoping you can all see that okay. Francesca, can you see that?
I can see the PowerPoint. If you put in presentation mode, it will be better.
Yeah, I have. It's showing in presentation mode on my screen.
But I cannot see in presentation mode. Probably
yeah. We seem to be all having the same problem. That
yes, it's the same problem of Carla. But if you choose, if you choose another window, it may work. You may see two windows of PowerPoint. The first is this, the second.
Yeah, no, I can't get it into.
In any case, if you scroll down the slides from the PowerPoint, not in presentation mode, we can see everything. So it could be an alternative. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. It goes well. We can see. Okay.
Okay. Brilliant. Thank you. Apologies for any technical difficulties. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak. I'm speaking to you from Durham in the northeast of England. It's a very grey, wet, cold day here today. I hope for some of our attendees you're having a nicer day. So I'm just going to say a little briefly about Durham's experience of working on this project. I only joined as project manager halfway through, so I can't give you the whole perspective from a personal point of view. but I can certainly say what Durham County Council has taken part in and what we've delivered. Just to briefly revisit the objectives of Locarbo, some of you will be very familiar with these. In our case in Durham, in the UK, we wanted to focus on a policy instrument called Priority Axis 4B, which under our programme is decarbonisation of buildings, but particularly focusing on small and medium-sized enterprises, so small businesses. So I'll talk quite a lot about these. In Durham, which is not a very well-off region, SMEs are extremely important. A lot of our economic development and regeneration strategies focus on SMEs. They provide the most employment opportunities in the county. It's also where a lot of the innovation is taking place. And there is quite a lot of innovation in Durham in the low carbon economy with small enterprises. So for us, Locarbo was an excellent match. It was a good opportunity. And we'd previously taken part in one Interreg Europe project, and we got the bug at that point. So we were very pleased to join. Our targets, what we intended to do, seems like a very long time ago now since Locarbo started, but what we intended to do was to expand support for decarbonisation for SMEs who perhaps had not entered into that sphere previously. Some of our businesses are very, very small indeed. We're talking, you know, 1 or 2 people, maybe a family enterprise, you know, a very small premises maybe. They don't have any capacity necessarily to look at environmental issues, to tackle their own energy needs. It was really an area where there was a lot of scope to do more, and there still is, even at the end of the programme. And to mainstream that in government in the UK, we felt it was very important to influence the UK government to do more to support SMEs with their decarbonisation. I'll say a little bit more about how successful that has been later. And for us to embed good practice from around Europe, we're very conscious that one of the advantages of Interreg Europe is that you can meet people you would never otherwise meet in regions which have certain key similarities, where you can learn things that would actually work really well in your region. And without Interreg, we would never have come across those things. We picked as a performance indicator something around SMEs. This was about energy audits in business premises. We wanted to see at least 80 having introduced some measures after an audit. And in particular, we had in mind a project of our own called BEEP, which is a business energy efficiency project, and a project in neighbouring authorities in the northeast of England called BEES, which was Business Energy Efficiency Support. It has subsequently changed its name. We'll come on to that in a minute. We engaged in the programme in Locarbo fully. We have had to summarise very briefly here the results of our action plan. These are the 4 main activities that were in the action plan, but there was a lot of learning and development to get to this point. We introduced a pilot action, which has been referred to already by various speakers, about a virtual power station. And this was learning from our friends in Hungary who had developed a virtual power plant. They had a very good track record of working with SMEs in Hungary, so we were very interested in that activity and how we could use it to improve our own. It was also an important project from a communication and engagement point of view, because it's about capturing savings that are made through energy efficiency and representing them as a power station. So trying to give them something that seems intangible, trying to give it a tangible form, make it understandable and accessible to people in government, to businesses themselves, to the media. When we work a lot with carbon dioxide emissions as our metric, it's very abstract. It's difficult for people to understand sometimes. So we're very interested to pursue that project and see if we can carry on and do something useful with it. We also developed a platform for sharing good practice in England. When we started Locarbo, BEEP, our business energy efficiency project, was just commencing, and it was one of the first, I think maybe the first in England, to use a model whereby we provided bespoke, tailored advice in premises to small businesses. So we would go in and give them an energy audit and make recommendations as to what they could do to improve their energy efficiency. And it was entirely tailored to them. So it wasn't general advice you could get online or from a book. It's very specific. And we made it clear what savings they could make. And obviously many businesses are interested in the cash savings, we were interested in the carbon. But it proved to be a complex project, and funding it through our policy instrument PA4B proved quite difficult to get up and running. So we needed to share advice with new projects about how we did it. We were approached all the time with requests for information, and the huddle was created to have a, everything in one place platform to share. So we shared documents and templates and common queries, put things to the managing authority via the huddle. So it was a really, interesting online space for improving the quality of the work. Sort of following on from that, we wanted to influence policy. We have good relationship with the managing authority, and our speaker from earlier on today, Mark Jocelyn, sent his apologies for his terrible internet connection, because he was going to tell you all about our relationship with the Ministry of Housing, Communities and Local Government. But we've also worked with another UK government department called BEIS, which stands for Business, Energy, Industry and Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy. And they are increasingly in the space of decarbonisation of SMEs. So we felt it's really important to influence them, and we've had a number of successes there. And the final success has been what was the BEES project is now called BEST. We do love an acronym in the UK, apologies for that. So we were supporting our nearest neighbours to develop a similar programme of support for SMEs with energy efficiency. And that was very successful. It was funded through the same policy instrument. And at the same time, we wrote a new application for for a phase 2 of BEEP under the same policy instrument, and that was funded in 2019 for another 3 years. So we've made very good use of our policy instrument. We've tried to influence its development, and obviously for us in the UK, that period is now coming to an end. So what we've achieved is actually we exceeded the indicator of 80. We got 119 energy audits, and as I said, BEEP has also carried on and so far achieved another 120 energy audits of SMEs. In spite of the pandemic this year, there's been very little slowdown in demand, so we can say that interest in decarbonisation from SMEs is strong. It's partly coming from them in terms of managing their own costs in a crisis, but it's also being driven by their customers who are asking them what they are doing to tackle the climate emergency. Excuse me. Briefly, what we've learned is it's very important, as I said at the start, to work in partnership. We couldn't have learned nearly so much without the goodwill and support of key partners, especially MI6 in Hungary. We work very closely with regional partners here in the UK, so to bring learning from low carbon into the rest of the region in England. That's been very useful. The networking opportunities and the opportunities to host the local living labs was really important for us, because we were able to physically bring together people from around England in the days when we could have live conferences to share experience about how to improve the decarbonisation strategies for SMEs. I will just say something briefly about the situation where we are now is somewhat different from all of you. It's been very interesting to hear about your Green Deal for Europe, and we wish you very well with it. We will not be taking part in that level formally because the UK voted to leave the EU. We had been told by government that there would be a replacement for EU programmes, so a replacement for what is our European Regional Development Fund, and it would be called the Shared Prosperity Fund. And several years on, we have no details about this, no programme announced, no funding. So the type of we'd hope to be able to continue to influence a policy instrument, even if it was a new policy instrument under Locarbo. But as it stands, we haven't been able to do that. The government has brought forward a number of interesting strategies around decarbonisation. However, clean growth strategy, industrial strategy. Recently, last week, I think, or the week before, the Prime Minister announced a 10-point plan for a green industrial revolution. We have very ambitious targets in the UK now. Unfortunately, we don't really have the programmes yet to back them up. At a more local level and a more community level, most public sector organisations have been pressed by activists, by School Strike for Climate and by Extinction Rebellion and community climate action groups to declare climate emergencies. Our council, Durham County Council, did that last year in February. We're well advanced into our climate emergency response plan now. Many councils are. We take this very, very seriously at a local level. We have a champion from our elected members, Councillor John Clare, who champions climate issues and decarbonisation issues across the council. We're very fortunate in that. So there is very strong action at a local and regional level to carry on the spirit of Locarbo. And for us, well, what will happen, yes, in the future? We have done some work with the department BEIS to look at transferring the virtual power station concept into the UK. BEIS, we're also talking to about potentially an auction for SME decarbonisation work, which would be interesting because we have a good track record in that area. We have, I said, produced our own climate emergency response plan. We've joined another Interreg Europe project, I'm pleased to say. We started that last summer, so we have the opportunity for some more learning there. We have a lot of regional work taking place with our partners, and we keep in touch with government, and we hope to hear more. So we hope to hear more from you as well. Keep in touch, and it's been really excellent to be part of this project. Thank you very much.
Because we take more than we have, so we can move to Yolanda, my colleague and friend, I can say. Yolanda, are you there? Okay, nice to see you.
Hello, Francesco.
Okay, so
hello,
Yolanda,
okay. Now
yes.
I try to share my screen, okay?
Yes, just a few words. Yolanda is a representative of Kaunas University of Technology from Lithuania, which was one of the research scientific partners of the Locarbo project. Yolanda, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Francesco. But I also trying to share my screen. Do you see screen or not?
Still not. Still not.
Okay, let's try once again. And what about now?
No. No, now something is happening. Okay, perfect. Yolanda.
Okay, but it is presentation mode or not?
Is presentation mode, okay.
Okay, but I can see myself and I can see you and anybody else in the room. So I will try to present, okay? I'm representing Kaunas University of Technology, and actually research institution, university. And in the very beginning of the project planning, thanks to Interreg Europe, that research institutions also were among those institutions participating in the Interreg Europe project. So I would like to say that this is very important because, first of all, this interinstitutional participation or cooperation is very important regarding from regional authorities or local authorities point of view, because usually they lack some knowledge, some monitoring activities or some other activities among their experts, and this cooperation, close cooperation with the science, with the research institutions is very welcome. So I will present our action plan, and this plan was dedicated for improving energy efficiency in multi-apartment residential buildings. And actually, this policy instrument tackled within the Locarbo project is operational program for the European Union funds. And this program is supporting the shift towards a low carbon economy in all sectors. And we have priority axis 4, where promoting energy efficiency and production and use of renewable energy is one of the activities. And actually, the action plan presents the strategic aims of Lithuania in order to increase energy efficiency for households based on implementation of the renovation process. And main features are listed. There are several measures and financing of measures increasing the energy efficiency in buildings. Of course, major renovation is oriented to the minimum energy efficiency class C, and investments into energy efficiency of public and residential buildings. But of course, the residential buildings are the main problem in our country, and of course, complex renovation. I would say that this topic related multi-apartment buildings is still very important from all parts, national government, local governments point of view, because in Lithuania there are more than 35,000 of apartment buildings, and I would like to mention that some of them, for example, more than 10,000 buildings were built before the Second World War, and of course those mentioned 35,000 of buildings were built before 1993. That means that they usually energy inefficient, they consume a lot of energy, especially heat energy, and of course this criteria was selected, or indicator was selected for Lithuania in the action plan. Indicator for Lithuania was 20,000 households with improved consumption classified energy to better energy efficiency class. So actually the results show that the results show that we achieved this indicator, and during the period we calculated together with our stakeholders, because we are research institution and we were cooperating with our national and local authorities, and in Lithuania we have different models to manage the renovation process nationally. So we know that ESCO model was one of, I think, good practice from Lithuania, and during the period, the second phase of Locarbo project, there were modernization projects implemented 365, and you see that from the slide that more than 43,000 of households with increased energy efficiency class. So this is really was a very good result, and this showed that this initiative, the initiative we started in Lithuania in 2014, and we with the project in 2016 was in time, and we really are very happy cooperating among the this cooperation among the partnership. But of course we are very happy that with this initiative we made a cooperation nationally with our local and national authorities, and as we are researchers, we do some research work with our master students, PhD students, and we use advanced models, life cycle assessment to assess the different renovation scenarios using conventional renovation or using renewable energy sources in the renovation process. And actually, I should mention that among European other countries, there are not so much information on that, how the renovation is effective. We know that we achieved this class and energy efficiency, and we make this savings with the energy and heat energy, but still what kind of materials should be used in the renovation and how it affects environment, and not only from the environment point of view, but from social and economic point of view. This should be also assessed, and we build this cooperation together with our stakeholders. So I would say that lessons learned, of course, first of all, we should mention that exchange of experience process was very successful. We identified in different countries good practices were shared with local stakeholders, and we learned a lot from our exchange of experience process, and also I should mention that one of the strengths of the partnership was the model to involve the local stakeholders and to invite them and to exchange with them very important ideas for successful renovation process. And of course, once again, thanks Interreg Europe program, because we had very good international cooperation between project partners. And I would say that this cooperation was more than successful, because we established very good cooperation with Basilicata region, with Potenza and Basilicata University, and we had other activities together, participation in conferences or in the process, study process at universities. And this is really very, very important and very good. And what are the plans for future? I would say that building sector still is among those very still problematic, because we know that 1/3 of EU building stock is over 50 years old, and 40% of the building stock was built before 1960s. So it means that we should put a lot of efforts. Our governments, our national authorities, they should think about the renovation process, and that's why the European Union announced for the building sector renovation wave and also Green Deal, and these communications are very important for all European Union, for all countries, and of course for Lithuania. So I think that we will continue working together with our partners. We are very happy to be in the consortium, and we will continue on renovation, of course, because as I have mentioned before, this is very important, not only from the energy point of view, but from materials as well. So thank you very much, and thanks again, Francesco, for cooperation and for
Yolanda,
chairing this session.
Thank you, and thanks you also for mentioning that the connection goes beyond Locarbo and generates additional opportunities of cooperation also among us, among partners of this project. Okay, we can move to Zoltan from Hungary. He is a reference of MI6, the partner of the project. And I have also to mention that MI6 Good Practice, which is a VPP, has been selected from other partners in order to be implemented as a pilot action good practices. And so our cooperation goes also beyond the project implementation, and we based on MI6 good practice also the opportunity to develop the pilot action of the project. Okay, Zoltan, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and welcome everyone attending this conference. Yes, my name is Zoltan Oletic, and I'm the project manager of the Virtual Power Plant program at the MI6, which is not the English Secret Service, but the Hungarian abbreviation of Hungarian Innovation and Efficiency Nonprofit Limited. So before I start, I just try to share my screen, and yeah, maybe it will be okay. Okay, can you see it now? Okay.
Really not.
No?
And I see still Yolanda pages on the screen, so I ask the technical assistants to leave only Zoltan in the video.
So
technology sometimes simplifies our life.
And sometimes not.
Sometimes no, absolutely.
Okay, before we start, and I don't need the presentation for firsthand. We have been speaking about virtual power plant program and our project and pilot actions. What is virtual power plant program? As Helen and the others have already told us about, we have been working closely with other project partners in Locarbo beside the pilot action implementation, and we move forward with our projects. The main tool of MI6 to realize its goals is the Virtual Power Plant Program. It is the largest tried and tested energy efficiency merit scheme and program in Central and Eastern Europe. The program closely links a non-profit scheme and motivational system with for-profit activities and market network building, allows entry for, I see it's okay now. So it allows entry for stakeholders at several levels, uses social innovation and gamification methods, and has scaled up from 0 to becoming the 4th largest power plant in Hungary in 10 years. Also selected by the EU Commission among the top 3 energy efficiency programs in Europe. The program is transferable, scalable, and interconnectable, which we will speak about later. So what is it about, and how could we implement it in so many countries? It links a non-profit scheme and motivational system, as I told earlier, with for-profit activities, meaning that we collect energy efficiency practices of SMEs and try to share their knowledge and best practices to other partners in the same stakeholder group or in the Hungarian economy to help foster their energy efficiency investments and to help them go on with their energy saving goals. Entities may join at different levels, starting from strong and articulated devotion to energy efficiency through proven, realized energy savings up to mentoring other organizations. The program is open to companies, municipalities, public sector organizations, schools and students, and the broader public as well. So as you will see later on in the presentation, we have focused in Locarbo solely on SMEs, but the program itself focuses on many stakeholder groups. Through social innovation, this program brings together stakeholders from businesses, academia, government, NGOs, and relies on their mutual interest and will to cooperate, establish a sustainable win-win situation to all parties at negligible operational expenses, which means that we try to connect all partners of the energy efficiency scheme. Academia members to help realize energy efficiency investments, government officials and government support schemes to help foster the energy efficiency investments and help them come to life, to finance them, and even proven contractors to realize these energy efficiency investments. Using methods of gamification, the program collects and visualizes invisible energy savings to erect a visible entity, a virtual power plant. This is the power plant. So when an SME or any other stakeholder realizes an energy saving, we build the glass brick from them. I think Helen also referenced this moment in her presentation as well. And these glass bricks, these small portions of energy savings build up our invisible power plant. In Hungary, the plant is the 4th largest power plant now, with more than 600 megawatts of power plant capacity saved. And it started its operation in 2011. And under 10 years, we have built partnerships with more than 9,000 companies, 400,000 students, and 150 municipalities. Why is this important? for two reasons. As at the beginning of Locarbo project, and let me skip one slide. So we targeted SMEs, and our action plan set out 3 specific objectives, supported by 3 action pieces. Improve stakeholder engagement with SMEs and the support side of interventions, the policy actions managing authority, which you have heard in the previous session, for example, Ms. Katalin Barna from the Ministry of Finance. Further develop the economic development and innovation operative programs, priority 4 cores. These are the energy efficiency and energy saving related cores for supporting SME level energy efficiency investments. And third, monitoring the performance of the policy instrument and make a matchmaking intervention, meaning to better develop said EDIOP priority 4 cause to better help SMEs get their funding, receive their funding faster, and get those types of support from the government, which really help them realize their projects. So these were the goals. And we had quite a few actions to realize it, as you can see on the right side of the screen: raising awareness, engaging new target groups, pilot actions for stakeholder group extension, monitoring stakeholders on the policy instrument, collecting and sharing transnational practices with the MA, which is due to Locarbo's help, providing proposals to MA, scheme modification and management, monitoring co-founded projects, creating an early warning system if the policy instruments found are not as well absorbed by the SMEs as we have tried, and maintain a consultation level from the managing authority. If you remember Ms. Katalin Barna's presentation from earlier, you may see some links between this presentation and that, because we worked closely with our managing authority and collected and shared best practices later than were presented towards them. So these were the goals, and which are the results. First things first, we went on with developing the EDIOP 4 policy instrument goals and specified 2 new goals to be formulated by the managing authority. One of them was to focus on small scale, SME level and micro level renewable energy investments, to help them better get get better and build better renewable energy projects, for example, from photovoltaics, geothermals, and so on and so on. The other one was a bit more complex goal and helped SMEs, local bakeries, production level, industry level companies to formulate their energy efficiency and combined renewable energy projects. This one focused mainly on complex projects, from building insulation to photovoltaics and so on and so on. 2 new successful calls were formulated with more than, I think, 30 billion Hungarian forints, more than 100 million euros worth of support granted to these SME companies. And also on the other side, sorry for the spelling mistake on the slide, 400 stakeholders were awarded because they share their best practices with us. Because these 400 best practices meant us and given us the data how to develop these calls, what type of calls to be formulated to help and support these kind of investments, and what kind of investments the market and stakeholders really wanted. These 400 stakeholders helped us. As you can see on the left side of the screen, we held award ceremonies for these 400 people in the houses of the parliament, and as they were attending it, we awarded them for their contribution to the program. So on the basic note, 600 megawatts of energy of power plant capacity was saved, and it's worth to mention that this is not megawatt hours, but the megawatt capacity of a power plant. It's quite a large power plant, to be honest. This is 259,000 plus gigajoules of energy worth of material, and this means that 2.1 million tons of GHG or greenhouse gas emissions was saved. On the other hand, I think at halftime of the project, maybe, yes, we came across with the option to start a project, a pilot project with 3 program partners. These were Darem, Potenza, and Alba Iulia. So these were the projects and pilot projects which we talked about earlier and Helen mentioned about earlier, and Potenza gave us 3 megawatts of power saved, and I think 70 projects, while Darem contributed with a bit less energy savings, but more projects on the other side, while Alba Iulia provided a bit less power as well. What did we learn during this project? Best practices from Interreg community for co-development and regulations. We had a Florence best practice conference in 2018, which we used to build in to the above mentioned calls, and Locarbo partner practices, especially Darem and Potenza practices, also gave us opportunities to present new solutions for the managing authority. Virtual power plant program partners. As told you earlier, these 400 new projects ranging from renewables to complex infrastructure and development projects, SMEs with around 120 types of different project approaches, helped us to formulate these new calls and to help more than thousands of companies to reach their new opportunities. I think these were the main lessons which we could learn about ourselves, and the opportunities to work together with partners from Locarbo and from Europe, and the ability to scale up our program into the Western Europe region, also to gather new allies and forge new alliances. Sorry for my English. So forge new alliances for building projects in energy efficiency and renewables levels. What is the future and what we consider the best? As you can see in the left side, sorry for the Hungarian figure, you can see that our goal is to reach 1 million megawatts, 1 million kilowatts and 1,000 megawatts of power plant capacity saved, with 5 million tons of carbon dioxide saved through decarbonization and these EDIOP4 calls. Also, 2 huge actions will be undertaken in the future, but before I'm telling you about that, a bit few. Possible continuation of pilots with Potenza, as earlier negotiations went on with Ms. Rosalia and Alessandro. We are going to continue our cooperation with Potenza region after Locarbo project closes, and we try to build a local virtual power plant higher at that region, which is a really good thing for us. And I think a really good opportunity for both partners to exchange experience. On the other hand, EDIO Priority 4 calls are ready to open in 2021 and 27, so the next new programming period. We made efforts to support the MA, and as Ms. Katalin Barna was already told earlier, we are going to help the new managing authority with this one. High SME reach, small and medium businesses are already knocking on our doors to become partners of the program. So we are going to operate virtual power plant program in the future as well. And yeah, VPP continues to grow, and it continues to grow not only in Hungary but in Europe as well. And 2 huge actions are to be undertaken in the future, as I told you earlier. We just finished an AI-based support program for household energy efficiency. So what we learned from SMEs and industry partners, we are going to implement this knowledge at the household sector and help them with an algorithm-based, AI-based chatbot system to formulate their energy efficiency projects. And we are exporting our VPP knowledge to, for example, waste management programs. And another thing, which is already, and also thanks to Helen and the UK partner, and I'm sorry for them that we don't work together with them in continuous Interreg projects because of the Brexit, but they helped us to connect with the government of UK and become outside partners, or at least a phase 1 partner for the UK decarbonization goals at the SME level, so we could share our insights with the government of the United Kingdom. And I think it's a really great success. It's thanks to Locarbo and meeting these great and wonderful people. Thank you very much for your attention. I tried to be brief, but yeah, I like to speak a lot, and I'm sorry for that. So thank you.
To be brief, but you brought a lot of content, so thank you.
Thank you very much.
Let's go on. Alexandra Chistoiu, huh? I pronounce it well. Alexandra, welcome. Okay. So Alexandra is representative of the staff of Alba Iulia municipalities. And please, the floor is yours. You can share your screen.
Thank you very much. I will try to share my screen. I hope I won't have issues.
Okay. Also for you, it's not presentation. Okay, presentation mode. Perfect. Okay.
Presentation mode. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Manage it from the start. Thank you, everyone, and welcome to this final event. Thank you all the partners for an amazing journey during this project. Okay, my presentation was a bit forward. So on our action plan for this project, we set the following targets: to improve the energy efficiency, smart energy management, and renewable energy use in public infrastructure of Alba Iulia. Promotion of best practices in the green public buildings, and inform and engage the population to participate actively. Embed low carbon into decision-making process at city regional level related to green public buildings. In order to achieve these targets, we had a few activities, and these are the results of these activities we managed to have during this project. First activity is sharing findings on new sources of funding for greening the public sector. Alba Iulia municipality as a partner in several European projects promoted the good practices in green public buildings and low carbon emission activities among other partners and among other citizens. And Alba Iulia wishes to align itself with the steps taken by the municipalities around Europe in the common effort to adapt to climate change. The second activity of this of our action plan was the pilot action we implemented under the supervision of our colleagues from MI6. The municipality contributed with significant economies to the VPP platform. Sadly, due to COVID-19, we encountered some issues, but we still believe in this pilot action, and we want to continue and provide more economies to the VPP. The third activity, energy rehabilitation of public buildings. The municipality currently implements a project financed through a regional operational program, Priority Access 3. It's a project of over 1 million euro, and the project consists in increasing the energy efficiency of the sports high school of Alba Iulia. The project it's in its final stages, so we consider we will have good results in energy consumption reduction. The fourth activity was to initiate and transmit to Regional Development Agency ideas for improving the regional operational programs based on our pilot action results. Due to its vast experience on European funding, the municipality works closely with the managing authorities and always sends feedback and possible solutions for the financing lines and new ideas. The fifth activity was updating the plan for energy efficiency improvement of Alba Iulia municipality and promoting the document to the stakeholders. The action plan was updated in 2019 and was published on the website of the institution. The strategy represents the commitment of the municipality for the next years in order to reduce CO2 emissions on the entire territory of the municipality, according to voluntary assumed targets. The good collaboration we had with the partners, the exchange of experience, the good practices presented in Locarbo project lead us to a better understanding of how other countries take action in this fight with CO2 emissions, and will help us to improve our future actions in this area. In the last years, Alba Iulia improved its strategies and increased the activities to reduce CO2 emissions. Some of the most important projects are 13 electric buses and 17 recharging stations for the municipality. We have 33 public buildings with energy audit and labeled. Over 1,000 apartments will increase energy efficiency. We implemented the project to increase energy efficiency of Sports High School. I presented the project earlier a bit. And one of the most recent projects we are implementing is rehabilitation, modernization, and extension of public lighting system of Alba Iulia municipality. It's a project financed to regional operational program. And for the future, we are planning to go further with these actions to reduce CO2 emissions, and we have planned some projects for the near future. Some of them are implementation of intelligent electricity metering system on buildings, commercial offices, office of economic agents, increasing energy efficiency and measures for the use of local renewable energy sources for educational buildings in Alba Iulia, and innovative energy efficiency solutions for Olympic pool of the municipality, and increasing energy efficiency of all municipal school buildings. This is what we plan for the near future. So thank you very much for your attention. I hope I was brief enough.
Yes, you were. Okay. Last but not least, let's go back to Basilicata region. Lucchese. And let's try to see if the presentation works or not.
Good morning, good afternoon. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Can we start?
Perfect.
Okay. Welcome to all. I'm going to introduce to you the action plan of the Italian Basilicata region. The title represents perfectly our target: novel roles of regional and local authorities in supporting energy consumers' behavior change towards a low carbon economy. We have chosen this image to represent our final strategic target. We are convinced that the energy efficiency and the low carbon technology adoption can be reached through this particular path. Let's say, first of all, a different way to face economy, a different behavior, therefore a different behavioral economics, plus added smart solution. It's a different cultural behavior, the only path that can lead to a different energy economy, and therefore the transition to a low carbon economy. This target can be translated into words in these the following action. First of all, stimulating innovative instruments to increase the energy efficiency of the built environment, to develop innovative processes by regional and local authorities aimed to change energy consumers' behavior, and last, to activate processes of improvement of regional policies in favor of our energies. Which are the results of Basilicata region? First of all, our main result is a toolkit in the automation building created by the PCP. This target is represented by is the result of the cooperation with the University Consortium of Industrial and Managerial Economics located in Rome. It's a particular procurement process, commercial process, in order to give answer to the public administration needs, both functional and technical. It's not very easy to set a PCP procedure, but of course it's very fascinating and it's very effective for public administrator to start from a real need and to this multi-level cooperation with the stakeholders to reach a final product and then the commercialization of this product. But this is not the only result of the Basilicata region. We have other results such as the actions funded by the ERDF of the Basilicata region, of course, promoting innovative technologies and smart solutions to increase the energy efficiency and thus reducing energy consumption. And the third, but not less important result is represented by the Regional Environmental and Energy Plan and the Landscape Plan. Thanks to this plan, accurate guidelines are going to be drafted regarding energy efficiency. Which are the lessons learned by the Basilicata region? Obviously, we can say that the political and administrative awareness of the importance of the transition to a low-carbon economy is, of course, increased. But the challenge is to ensure this sustainable transition both at political and administrative level, because it's very hard involvement. This image represents the future we would like to build in Basilicata. That's to say, a Basilicata, a low carbon society based on decarbonization and obtained only through energy efficiency and smart solutions. But of course, in order to translate in real what is our future, we have given the opportunity to more than 20 regional bodies to foster the energy innovation in the territorial borders, thanks to the PCP. Just to mention some of these regional bodies, I would like to mention some of these regional entity involved in this process. We speak about the regional water utilities, the regional waste management agency, the regional agency for residential building, the ecological park for the rock churches of Matera, the European Capital of Culture 2019, the natural park of Vulture, the managing authority of the natural park of Dolomiti Lucane, the regional energy society, the CEL, and so on. All these regional bodies can achieve innovation and foster innovation in the regional borders thanks this toolkit, which show practically all the procedure to put in progress. But the future represented also by this 64 action founded by the ERDF 2014-2020 aim to improve the energy efficient building, private and public building, with the total available amount of 10 million euros. And the third, but not less important,
brick of our future is represented by the regional environmental and energy plans. Is a sort of binding regulatory framework for the future actions to be implemented within the regional borders by public entities, municipalities, managing authorities, and so on. We hope to be able to build in Basilicata region an energy model like this image. That's to say, low carbon, less carbon entities, and energy efficiency, renewable energy, and so on. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thanks for your contribution. Thanks to refers also to energy and environmental plan of the Basilicata region, which is probably the most useful tool in the short, medium terms that we may adopt in order to be more effective in the management of a regional transition toward low carbon economy.
Okay.
I know that Alessandro wants to lead the question and answer section now. We have some time. We can take also some additional time because it will be relevant. And so please, I ask to the technical assistants to put all the partners in the screen in order to let them participate better in this final discussion round. Thank you.
Hello, everyone, again.
Yeah. Are we all? No, I don't think so.
Jolanta is missing.
And Rosalia too.
Oh, yeah. And Helen.
Yeah.
Okay, Helen, yeah.
Rosalia.
And Helen.
Okay, Helen, yeah. Helen?
Rosalia.
I'm sorry for this, but I don't know who is. Okay, I think it's. I thank you very much. I don't. I just have 5 questions to everybody. So no, I wanted to have everybody on the screen because is a particular meeting that we had today with the possibility to see each other all the time. But anyway, the last question is not. We have seen everything. We know that we have seen very good presentations, very good results, very good outputs that we produced during these last. During these years of cooperation. My last question is just a round of questions. What are your final impression on this? This is the, final impression about our cooperation, our long cooperation, and what if you think that we can go on, we can think about to continue our relationship, not only professional, but also our friendship, also beyond the project. So let's start with it's free. So the first we ask to the technician to give the floor to everybody.
Well, it seems it's me that I'm on the screen.
Random, it's random.
Once again, thank you very much for this amazing collaboration and for the relationships we made between us. I'd like to consider ourselves friends, and I really hope we will continue this partnership for further projects for further activities together in the next years. So thank you again for everything we've been through this project.
Thank you, Alexander.
Okay, my turn now. I think the same that Alessandra said. It was a fruitful experience. These have been 5 years of work together. It's still much more to do. And I think that will be very good if we can find any other way to cooperate and collaborate again, not only in this in the continuance of this project, but perhaps I think that will be a lot of new projects that we can work together and transform in some good ideas and some good experience that we have seen in all the partnership in real actions in our country, in our city. And I have to thanks to all of you for this great experience and also for this wonderful conference. And it was very good. It was a new experience for all of us. We are used to be together in a room, and it's very easy for us to have the contact with each other. But this kind of experience online, I was afraid that will not be so good as it was. And thank you again for all of you. And thank you all to the other speakers and presenters who are not here today or now.
Thank you, Carla. Thank you. Who's next?
Can I speak? So, as already stated, Basilicata region is available for all future programs, Interreg programs, because all cooperation are fruitful for an increased awareness about problems. And we think we have already stated this, that above all, the problems are cultural approaches, different cultural approaches. And only studying and talking and meeting the other people and civil society and professionals and so on, we can change the behavior of people and can increase the awareness about these important issues such as energy efficiency and low carbon economy. That's all. Therefore, we hope we can work together again later after low carbon framework.
Thank you, Lucia. Zoltan, it's your turn.
Thank you. As I mentioned in my presentation, we are very happy and grateful for being part of such a great partnership. We wish to continue our cooperation together. And as I think I already mentioned, that we are planning ahead with Potenza and somehow in the UK to move forward. So yes, we are absolutely open for anything in the future with this great team. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Zoltan.
Sorry? Move forward. So yes, we are absolutely open for anything in the future with this great team. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Zoltan.
Sorry? Move forward. So yes, we are absolutely open.
Thank you to everybody for this great collaboration, for the great results we have all together achieved in this project. Now I'm sure that we are ready for the future and for the two big challenge of this time: the recovery after COVID, and of course the contrast to climate change. We are ready and all together can implement other initiatives, of course European, but also international, because it is necessary to go on with this great team we are creating within the project Locarbo. Thank you to everybody, also for this final event, successful final event. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rosalia. Yolanta.
Thank you to everybody, also for this final event, successful
I do not know if you hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes, Yolanta.
Yes. Okay. So first of all, I really would like to say that thanks to Interreg Europe, we met each other. We met with all the partners. We learned from you not only on low carbon economy, on low carbon economy measures and activities. We had an opportunity to learn from you, but I think we learned from the cultural point of view as well. And I think this interregional cooperation helps to people to understand each other, to understand South and North, and to exchange between the people, because this process is most important. And I would like to wish you and for all of us to continue working on that very important topic on energy efficiency and low carbon. And I hope we will meet one day somewhere else. So thank you very much, all of you.
Thank you, Yolanta. I would suggest to the speaker to close the audio, not the microphone, the audio, because this it seems that it comes from the speakers, this noise. Thank you very much, Yolanta. The next one is, I think, the last, but not the least, of course, Ellen.
Thank you. I would echo what I said earlier, which has been a pleasure to work with you all, and we're sorry that we can't continue. Thank you to the lead partner for bringing us all together in the first place. That's the province of Potenza. Thank you in particular to Villanova de Gaia and all colleagues there who have been brilliant on communications and on bringing us together at these events. Thank you. And thank you to everybody who took part enthusiastically. As I said, we will be watching closely your Green Deal, and we wish you well with it.
Thank you very much, Ellen. So I think that we can close. Beyond the relationship, the professional relationship that links together, in all this year, what remains is the real added value is the personal relationship that we built, and that will be maintained also far beyond the project. So we will work together to find out if we have other possibility to share our cooperation, and of course we will keep in contact every day. I mean, in the next future. So thank you very much to Villanova de Gaia, to Carla, Sara, and Margarita for the support given in organizing this conference. Thank you to all the partners. We will keep in touch for reporting reasons. The project will finish in March 2021. So a big thanks also to Francesco that moderated the workshop and the conference. And Francesco is one of another added value that we have here in Potenza, because he is from the University of Basilicata, and so we cooperate very strictly together in a lot of issues regarding territorial planning. So thank you to everybody, and I think we can close, and I can say also to the audience that is online, that had the patience to follow us all these 4 hours, and we will meet again in the future. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Responsible for the 40% of energy consumption and the 36% of CO2 emissions. The two-thirds of energy consumption in buildings is used for heating. These considerations, in addition to a changing climate whose effects are increasingly evident day by day, led us to say that it's time to act. This means that the transition to a low-carbon economy has become urgent and that the intervention in the building sector is crucial. A radical change in governance and consumer behaviors is necessary for supporting this radical transition to a low-carbon economy. Based on this consideration and necessities, 7 different European actors merged together and outlined the Locarbo initiative. Locarbo is an interregional cooperation project whose main objectives are to improve policy instruments for increasing energy efficiency and the use of renewable in buildings, to find innovative ways for regional and local authorities for supporting energy consumers' behaviors change by enhancing motivation and awareness, and to promote more conscious consumers' decisions on energy efficiency through the use of smart technologies. Locarbo's main expected achievement is that by 2020, each region involved in the project will implement and monitor a specific action plan built in close collaboration with its own network of stakeholders and local communities.